Well, that's gonna be.
Or else you're fired.
We don't have 1,000 years, you know.
I'm gonna fire you. Oh wait, it's already started. It's awkward.
Yeah.
Can you start the voice memo?
Yes.
There's one person. It's probably Brad Smith.
Who else would it be?
It's not Brad Smith. I'd be disappointed.
Testing.
Yo, mama, you fucking A.
No, it's Brad Smith.
No, I got my password wrong so many times that I locked myself out.
Wow.
I had this phone for fucking ever.
It's a new phone, isn't it? Did you just upgrade
not
4 years ago?
Yeah. Shut
Did
the
you
fuck
just
up.
upgrade? It's a little bit angled, so if you can maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm fixing the. I'm trying to put you guys in the frame.
Okay.
Perfect. Before.
6, 4.
Don't lock it again.
I'm so excited.
This is why you should be using the fingerprint, bro.
What am I, like a millennial?
Yes, you are actually. You're not a boomer, despite how you act.
What am I, like a millennial?
Yes. You
All right, we're definitely turn off the sound. Mikey Hunter. Yeah.
Google Keep.
Damn it.
You zooming in?
Well, it's just really freaking sensitive. That's the only thing. So I can't do it like correct. I can't do it at the right frame.
Oh, gotcha.
Fuck. Oh my god, what is up with your phone, dude?
Actually, it is your phone. You do want to
Like I touch it and it goes like. Okay, hold on.
This is how you start a podcast.
But you're changing the zoom?
Yeah, I'm trying to get you guys in the frame so the mirror's not in it and the side is not in it. So
I'm okay if a tiny bit of mirrors in there, or tiny to the side.
well, there we go. There goes no mirror and it's like a little bit of the wall. That's perfect.
All right.
Okay, so what else you want me to do?
Start it.
It's been on for 2 minutes.
It's been on for 2 minutes? Oh.
I love his strategy.
Hello. Hey, guys.
See, now whatever you do, you put a facade. So if you don't act like you did before, then you're incongruent.
All right, so...
I like being incongruent with my audience.
It's going, all right.
That's what I prefer to be. I want them to know that I'm a caricature and not a real man. If they don't think I'm a god, then I'm nothing. Let's go to the smoker. The smoker? Oh. Here, actually, I was hungry for me a second.
So it's technically your channel.
Oh,
so
I got my pipe. I see this.
you should probably start it up.
Oh,
Mr. E, he's
been
first.
It's been going live.
yeah, it's been going.
All right, we're just setting up. Let us know that the audio is working, the video is working.
Mr. E, you were not first.
It says waiting for
Fucking Mr. E.
there we go. Yeah, okay, it's much higher quality. Sorry.
So what do you want to talk about?
You didn't come plan.
No, I was just planning on,
We
flying
get
by the
it.
seat of my pants like I constantly do.
Makes sense. I'll give you a thumb up. All right, so I have a few topics that we can talk about, a few interesting things that I've got prepared. If there's any like awkward silences, but really, let's engage with the audience. If they have any questions, anything they want to say, we can basically talk to them.
Yeah.
And help them out. So any questions you have, any sticking points you're experiencing, we can give you personalized guidance. This is your chance to reach out to us directly.
Or ignore you, like your parents did.
Yeah.
See, this also reminds me of my parents.
Does this remind you of your
Awkward
experience?
silences, yes.
Okay, so what do you think
Of this lighting. It's fucking dope. Dude, how can we not get laid with this lighting?
We almost do.
God damn it. They were right.
So what do you think when you think the words toxic femininity? Because that's a topic that no one's really talked about, but so you know the concept of toxic masculinity, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, it's basically that society teaches men to be aggressive, to be entitled, to treat women like objects,
Yeah.
to not express their emotions, to not feel their emotions. And I think it can be exaggerated a lot, and it's like all masculinity is evil. It kind of goes to that point, like all masculinity is bad. Can't forget, like, masculine. It was men who, World War II, who fought the war. There's good things men have done, obviously. A lot of good things can go towards men. A lot of bad things can too. So you don't want to take it that far. But what about women? So, right, there's no concept of toxic femininity, but do you think society teaches women on a large scale to have certain bad traits, kind of like on the other side with men learning to be unemotional? Does society do the same thing to women too in different ways?
I think that people need to kind of understand that it's not. All right, so what if a guy is like inherently masculine? What if that's like, so people are automatically assuming that being masculine is like societally taught, but they're not taking in the other side of the subject, and maybe it's more biological. Because what if it's biological and there are people that are suppressing the fact they have high testosterone, which actually that is a benefit of that's a side effect of testosterone.
There's a pretty strong scientific evidence that at least some of it is biological, right?
Yeah.
Because aggressiveness goes up as testosterone goes up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's
Most
a lot
men-
of correlations there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that society doesn't also teach men certain like behavior. I've seen examples where men do act entitled to women, even though they're like saying like go away, and they just have this assumption that she's gonna like him no matter what, to a point where it's unhealthy. I've seen that happen.
I see that so rare though.
Yeah, it's getting rarer and rarer, but it has happened.
I do that on I assume pretty heavily that girls like me in conversations.
But you can tell when they're not interested and are respectful enough to back off at that point.
Yeah, but I'll even backwards assume that they're still into me, even though I'm like getting rejected.
But you're walking away and not pressuring them. Hopefully.
Yeah, no.
You've seen guys put too much pressure on girls.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen girls have to like run away from guys because I've seen that with someone we both know, where girls literally run away from a guy because he makes them so scared because he has this weird sense of entitlement. So I think there is a degree of truth to toxic masculinity, but it's exaggerated. But I also think like women can be taught some really toxic behaviors too.
Yeah.
Like women are taught that being emotional is good and that you should accept your emotions and always express your emotions. That's just as bad as never expressing your emotions. Like that can be really unhealthy. There's times when women will like scream, they'll cry. I've experienced threats of suicide. I've experienced the most insane things.
Well, they're using like almost emotional terrorism to kind of like to make a point. So if you're trying to have an argument, emotions shouldn't have any leeway in an argument, honestly. So like let's say like the ultimate viewpoint from a all right, let's say there's two people talking. One's very logical, one's emotional. The overall vibe is to help out humanity. Are you going to all right, let's make the well-being of mankind better? Wouldn't you rather go with the person who's logical, like logically trying to go about it, then they use emotions, like, oh, you hurt my feelings, you did this, you did that, to discredit the information, but that doesn't get rid of statistics. Like if you actually look at, all right, so if you follow somebody down an emotional route versus a logical route, I'm going to assume the majority of the time the logical route is going to be better for humanity as a whole, as opposed to the emotional. That's just the feedback I've seen. I don't think people are like, it's. I don't know. It just doesn't seem very like a very good solution. So I did read this today, which I thought was really cool. Somebody I can't remember who sent it to me. I think I saw it in a post. What they said was in a relationship when you jump into something. No, I'm just laughing. I like the fact you're laughing. The way you did that.
I'm watching Neighbors right now, and like they're all like so sexual. So the mom is like trying to say hi to them, and she's just like, dude, like it's just hilarious. These dudes have like I don't know, man.
I'll watch it later.
They're like sexual to every girl.
What were you saying?
I don't know. I forgot.
So the smoke is starting to kick in.
Yeah, smoking the tobacco.
Yeah, the tobacco.
Yeah.
Of course, is starting to kick in.
Yeah, definitely. That's my thing. So check it out. Fuck you, John.
So there's it's the whole blue pill red pill narrative thing, right?
Yeah.
There's this idea that women are basically the fairer sex. They're more good natured, right?
Yeah.
That they're less likely to do bad things to other people, and they're more caring. I think to a degree they do tend to be more caring, but they're also likely more skilled at manipulation.
Yeah, I think so
But
too.
no, I'm good, thank you.
Ah, come on, guys. If if you want them to take a hit,
Leave a comment.
do
Do
it.
involved to take a hit of tobacco.
Let me see. Avery, take a hit, you bitch. You can do it.
I'm actually
Is that what someone said?
Yeah.
Well, no. So the idea was like when you talk to your partner, though, that
No, I'm just
you should be
joking. No one
deciding,
said that.
do
No one
I
said
want,
that.
do I want comfort or do I want logic? Was the idea. Like, which one of the two do you want? Do you want comfort or do you want logic?
Okay.
Like, so whenever you're like talking about anything with your partner, so you want to have like your partner wants to talk through a situation. Do you want comfort or do you want logic? And actually, I found that's most of the time. I'm gonna say the majority of the time, I want logic and like help me out figure out the situation. But there's a percentage where I want comfort.
So women are taught that what feels bad is bad,
Yeah.
right? And so, but sometimes what
But
feels
men are
bad
kinda
is
taught.
actually not ethically the right thing to do. But they're taught to be more likely to find a way to rationalize that.
Well,
so if
women-
something feels bad,
Women use
Go
men
against
as
it.
women use men as kind of like a safety blanket. Like it's not very like talked about very much, but like women are gonna marry like a guy with a situation oftentimes. Because and that's it's a really good thing that women have in general because they can always if they fail at what they do, or if they don't have any success, they can essentially just fall back on a guy they can marry. Guys don't have that, so I think there's a lot more pressure for guys to figure it out at all costs. Like we have more of our backs against the walls because if you don't figure shit out, you're not going to find a woman that wants to be with you. You're not going to be admired by society. You're not going to have any money to buy shit. You could go homeless. You could be in the streets. You could basically, I feel like there's a lot more risks for a young guy versus a young girl. I think like the risks are like completely different. Which, with that being said, once you hit like a little older age, 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, and 40s, you start having a decrease in inherent value,
mhm.
and that's when most girls start freaking out, and having like a kind of crises. I think that's almost a worse crisis for a girl than their menopause, their midlife crisis, which I feel for guys is more in the 50s.
Well, because you kind of have to have a child within your 30s usually,
Yeah.
because the chances of being able to get pregnant go down, the chances of having birth defects go up. So
Mhm.
then there's this like panic that comes in, and also the opposite, just the less men are interested in settling down the older you get.
Mhm.
So there's this panic that comes with that. Yeah, that's a big thing. It's called the wall in the red pill community. They hit the wall. And guys, if you have any questions, like
You can ask.
comments,
We will
hit us
allow
up.
it.
We'll allow it.
Unless it's stupid. I need to stop making jokes like that. They're gonna take me seriously.
Evolutionary psychology isn't actually a very well-regarded explanation for male-female behavior. Much of it seems to. What do you mean from what you understand? Because there's different schools in psychology that they contradict each other, but it's not that one is necessarily more valid than the other. But like according to the scientific community, different people would have different arguments. It is pretty obvious that evolution has a lot to do with our behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, it's duh, because we evolved over millions of years, and every generation changes a little bit,
Mhm.
and that affects our appearance, but of course that's going to affect our behavior too.
Yeah.
It's hard to study though.
A lot of the stuff too that we're talking about, like so when I talk about evolutionary psychology, I studied like a wide variety of different things, and so I'm kind of blending it all together along with a couple of my theories on this. So if I ever talk about evolutionary psychology, and you guys want to know where it comes from, just let me know. Like honestly, quarter of the time it might be my own stuff that I kind of glued together to fit underneath my umbrella of knowledge, like underneath what works with psychology. I always try to find like something that fits in. If I don't find anything in evolutionary psychology that works, oftentimes I'll try to like so. For example, I didn't think that laughter, the reasoning they had for laughter, I thought was stupid. And I thought it doesn't make sense evolutionarily. Like
What was the reason?
their reasoning is that it's a sudden like oh my god, that's a crazy connection between two different things, but it doesn't cover everything that makes somebody laugh. Like somebody trips, that's not like a clever connection between two things.
Mhm.
So what I realized it is actually like so when you laugh, this is my theory. I think it's a change in status. I think it's a change in frame. So like let's say like I made a joke about this dude that you didn't like, you're gonna laugh louder because you're basically like saying, hey look, I agree that this guy is this. That's funny. I like that frame over this guy. Then do you notice a track laugh when people start? It's because it's almost like peer pressure laugh yourself because you don't want people seeing you not laughing and agreeing with the frame change. And it's also why people that are high status are the ones that usually can make the jokes, and people that are low status can't make the jokes because low status people don't
Like
have
the boss who's not funny, people will laugh, but the lower employee, if he makes that same joke, they might not laugh.
Yeah, and you're also more likely to make people
That's
laugh
pretty good.
and
I
feel
like
higher
it.
strategy.
Makes sense to me.
So anytime like a joke, like a clever connection between two different things, also falls underneath this umbrella. It actually covers all the umbrellas of different. I came up with that myself. I don't know if that's
like gotta.
it's just like not to like stunt on you motherfuckers.
He's gonna do a video called "The Most Humble Man in the World Picks Up Girls."
I don't know how
How are we doing? We're doing great.
the humblest man ever.
Dating scene post COVID.
My game actually got better, so my results in COVID got better. To be honest.
I mean, I would say I had no problem during COVID. I don't know if I'd say it's better. There's some disadvantages. There's less volume of people basically to approach. There's some advantages because there's just a lot of women who they have no way to meet men other than Tinder, and they get sick. A lot of girls don't like Tinder. They don't, just like a lot of guys don't like Tinder. They just think it sucks, and if that's their only option, when you approach a girl, you stand out that much more, especially if no one else is approaching. But after COVID, well, look, my guess is that as soon as the restrictions, as soon as they decide like enough people have been vaccinated to open up clubs, open up bars, there's just going to be a wave for like 3 to 6 months of people like acting like absolute monkeys, right? They're going to be a high increase in like casual sex because everyone's going to be going to party, everyone's going to be going to the clubs, they're going to be making up for lost time basically, and there's going to be a period where pickup is like easier than it's ever been. That's my guess.
Well, it's already really easy just for a simple fact that nobody's out gaming anymore.
It's easier than people think.
Oh yeah, it's been actually for me. If I really want to set to work instead of just goofing off, I feel like I can do a pretty good job of keeping it around now.
I mean, at least like if let's say we approach maybe 20 groups of 2 girls together so far.
If we do it like usually we have a really high.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I think probably like of those 20, like 16 or 17. Either we did pull or we could have pulled, but we didn't because we had to go meet someone else or like we were coaching or whatever.
Yeah.
But the vast majority wanted to go. It was like very high rate. Like the ratio
wanna
was
keep
very,
it
very
down.
high.
Sometimes-
Higher than it normally probably would be.
Well, I've been realizing I actually been rejecting girls more for just being bored or not liking them than anything else. Or like just like maybe it's early on in me warming up and approaching, and I don't want this to be my one last set. So like I'll leave it wanting to go warm up more, and I'll just get their phone number and maybe want to hit them up later or something like that.
But that's a mistake a lot of guys make. They end up like bringing girls home they don't even like because she is validating them. She seems into him, and he has the scarcity mindset. This is the best I'll ever be able to get.
Yeah.
And so he just goes home. I knew a guy who did that with like 50 plus girls, and once one of those girls that he slept with like came in the bar, and she was hanging out with him, and she said, "Oh, by the way, I slept with this guy. He was like my number 10," and he like ran away because he was so embarrassed because she was how do I put it? I mean, let's just say not the most appealing to society standards. We'll put it that way at all. And every girl he slept with was like this. Even though if he had talked to an attractive girl, she would like him, but he just got addicted to the validation of the easy, the girls that didn't make his ego feel threatened. Like he's like, she's within my league, and it's important to be careful of that. Like it's very common to pull girls that you're not even into because it's tempting if she's validating you. I think it's important to be like, I can get another girl. I can always, there's no reason I can't get a girl that's actually attractive or that I'm attracted to. It's a very common mistake in pickup. In relationships too. I know so many guys who will date girls that they don't even like that much. But she's just like made it really easy for them and got really attached to them very fast. And then he enters the relationship out of like laziness almost.
I've seen that happen so often. Well,
Especially with pickup guys.
I've
Or
never-
probably anyone. but-
I don't think I've seen too many men. Like I think it's so rare for me to find a guy that did not settle for a girl. Like it feels like most people that get in relationships, they settle for the girl and then they backwards rationalize after the fact that they truly love that woman, which is, most of the time false.
Mhm.
I so rarely see that. It's pretty much only people that know game that I've ever seen with like actual like Archer. Archer has an amazing girl. Like he has a great girl, and that girl fits him pretty well. Fits his temperament perfectly. Jesse has a great relationship. Jesse's partner has a great relationship. My mother has a great relationship. My
She's
mom's
got
also,
some game.
my mom's actually on her purpose. Whereas I'm a mommy's boy. She's definitely on her purpose. Like that's like she's a like as I always say, yes to my mom. She's a bad bitch. Yeah.
So this guy, NKL says, what advice would you give to a guy that views hot women as untouchable gods, having unrealistic fantasies and ideas of what women are versus what they really are and why it even comes to existence? one good suggestion is read the book My Secret Garden, so you can see the like dark fantasies women have and how grungy they can be, basically, how like earthy they can be. But I mean, really, it's the more hot girls you talk to, the more you see
That's
some of
what I was
them.
gonna say.
Some of them are cool, right? Some of them are super smart, super cool, but some of them are dumb, or some of them are like racist, or they're gonna deflate that fantasy. The more of them you talk to, the more you get to know. And it's not like when you go out and you see the hot girls, actually approach them, and you're gonna start to see they're not that big a deal. And the more that you ask them out, make a move, the more you dispel that. That's the only way to get over that sense of fantasy, is to like push yourself out of your comfort zone, start making moves with those kinds of girls that you think are untouchable. And every time you do, you get a chip away at that belief, right? Like it's chipping away at it, and you're getting more evidence that they're just like anyone else. They're really, the only difference is physical, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's girls that are hot that are terrible people, and then there's girls that are hot that are great people, just like anyone else.
Yeah, you got to build. So first, you have to focus on building standards. Building standards are pretty big. At first, I faked mine because I really truly didn't know what I wanted. I wrote down like cooking, which I realized cooking is not that big a deal for me. I prefer it, but it's more like if she has it, cool, extra bonus. But I'm not like gonna, if a girl can't cook but she's super cool, I'm not gonna tell her no. If she's really attractive, I'll probably still take her home and whatnot. But like there's certain quality of girl for me that like if you're just like this, like just a shitty terrible person, I'm not gonna sleep with you. If you're like somebody that I can't hang out with for more than like an hour and have a conversation with, yes, there's a lot of people like that. I won't talk to you, but that comes from like just me going out and approaching so much and building a lot of standards. So for me, I find that I don't know, like when you start working your way up. So like I remember I came to Vegas and I had a girl back in Sacramento that I thought was gorgeous. She was a sorority girl, like hetero sorority out in UC Davis, UCD. And I was out here for like maybe like a few years, and then she hit me up. She goes, I'm gonna come to Vegas. I want to see you. I meet up with her, and I remember I was like, oh shit, you're not nearly as attractive as I thought. I thought that she was like cute, but I thought she was hot back in the day. And then I see her a year later, and I thought she was actually kind of homely looking, to be honest. I was like, damn, that dropped really fast. And now
The
for me,
illusion.
yeah, like even like stunning girls now, I actually have better conversations and I have more positive assumptions about attractive girls and me hitting it off than I do ugly to maybe average girls. Like I have a hard time having conversations with average and ugly girls than I do hot girls now. Hot girls I can actually talk to you, and I give off that energy, like I actually want to talk to you. But if I'm talking to like an uglier girl, unless she has an amazing personality where I'm talking to her like a bro, I can't like I can't really connect with her like I can the hot girl, which I think is like a big problem with me. Which is also why I approach to make friends, because I feel like it's more of an authentic approach, and it goes tenfold better for me personally. I don't know if that like, and also too doing the thing that you do, which is like where you just approach and you just say something funny. Like him and me always do this, and we do this like religiously. He'll say, "I like your face" or something like that, and I'll be like, "I like it more." Or he'll be like, "I like your scarf," and I'll be like, "I like it more." Then we'll start fighting over the girls we're passing her, and we just keep walking away. Like that's actually really fun.
So someone said, what actually is attraction? There seems to be conflicting definitions.
No.
You don't think there's conflicting definitions?
Well, here's the definition: anything that says that you're a good option to have kids with. So, are you of high status? Are you a leader of men? Do women like you? But it's mainly status. Like if you have a lot of status, I mean, you can have the status is a bunch of different things. It's basically anything that makes you desirable. You can be like, to be honest, like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson being so big can be a form of status. But if he was a total weenie, you would have it would be negligible because he couldn't use it. Because dude, if you're a weenie and like you're just like like running away from people being shy, like we have a friend that acts like that in a way. Like even though he's a big dude, girls, I don't know, some girls actually do like him, like that one girl. But she's also been in a social circle for a long time.
I think
which
if
I
you-
think added to it.
If you look like that, you are more likely based on the feedback
Well,
you
she
get
started
growing up.
flirting with you.
Yeah, but I think you're more likely to get social feedback that tells you should be high status, so it's easier to end up acting that way. So it's more likely. So you can learn if you're not, let's say you're not 6'3" and huge. You can, if you learn to act high status, then you'll give the same energy.
Well,
But naturally, what tends to happen is people who look meek, who look weaker or whatever, they tend to meld into that behavior pattern,
Because
and you got to
society
break
says
out
this
of
is who
it.
you are.
But you can break out of it, but
Yeah.
it's still like it affects you. Like there's a natural difference that occurs, a pattern that like
Being a bigger
plays
guy
out.
definitely hints to you to be more higher status. So like if you're like a big dude, you're like, oh, I'm the big guy now. Now I can actually be this person because society says I'm allowed to be this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you slowly move into that character.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen it with some people, but you can also see it with people that are like I have a friend who's like I always bring this guy up, Calvin Klein model friend, which I got a couple, and neither of them are like one of them has bad verbals and the other one is very effeminate acting, and neither of them like both of them have issues and hard times with getting laid. Like I've ripped the one that was boring to talk to. I had one time where some girls approached him, but then we started talking, they were trying to get away from him to hang out with me. So then like we had 3 girls come to our table. Then all 3 girls stopped talking to him, started trying to talk to me, and then I was like having a hard time like trying to get them to hit on him now. So I was trying to play it and like trying to like I'm not noticing you guys are hitting on me, but anyways to my friend. I was trying to push him on my friend. They wouldn't want to talk to him.
There's been multiple times when I would approach a girl who's like in an intimate conversation with a guy who's say 6'5" and huge and clearly could kick my ass and looks higher status, but I would just approach with stronger intent. I would just give less of a fuck, and then the guy, all her attention would go to me, and the guy would just disappear. And that's happened many times. And the opposite has also happened, especially when I was newer to game, where let's say one of my friends who's shorter than me, who's less attractive than me, who's smaller than me, I'm talking to a girl, it's going well, but I just start to get a little reactive when he comes in. I start to get a little in my head, start to overthink it, and then the attention goes straight to him, and he ends up pulling her away from me. Like that has happened. Both have happened many times, and it's just the energy makes a huge difference.
Well, we had that happen between you and me the other day where I was talking to this blonde girl, and then you rolled in, and all of a sudden, like when you rolled in, because I invested so much in the set, I was more reactive to you, and then the girl started talking to you. And I remember that she was kind of more like giving you energy than me energy. So if you talk, she paid attention to you instead of me.
Yeah,
I was like,
what tends to happen.
Well, then she pulled down her mask, and neither was.
Wait, neither of us were interested.
That was the first time I ever actually had a girl pull a text. I wanted to do it in the moment, but I realized that it actually felt that way, and I was like, I can't do it now. I can't do the turnaround now.
That is probably the biggest problem with masks. Is you got to find out because. Sometimes the top half of the face is misleading compared to the bottom half of someone's face. It's just,
dude, she looks so hot with that mask on. I should like.
She did.
She put on no coat.
Like, wait, keep it on.
Yeah, when you pull
it on.
When you pull her.
Like, keep it on. Just never take it off. That's like the way to go. Don't dispel the illusion.
You could get sick. COVID's a terrible disease.
I take it very, very so seriously. I never want you to take it off.
Oh
Even
my God,
when I meet my parents, I just keep it on. Keep it on, girl. So I actually have I think my opinion about attraction is a little different because. So I think there's arousal, which is the emotion of feeling turned on, but that doesn't necessarily have to do with being attracted to like your traits. That's like a state that you enter. So arousal is a state, like if you're making eye contact with someone, if you're in close proximity with someone, if you're talking about sexual topics, those kinds of things, then you feel aroused and you just feel the emotions of turned on. Whereas attraction is divided into 2 things. Sexual attraction versus social attraction, because attraction doesn't actually have to be sexual. It can just be they're attractive, meaning they're appealing, right? They're an appealing person. They're like fun to be around. That's still attraction if you look at the like dictionary definition. And then there's sexual attraction, which is where they have status, right? So it's not necessarily you can find someone attractive but not be aroused. So this is what like if you're a guy who's really good looking, like you're a male, the guys might be attracted when they meet you, but if you don't arouse them, the attraction goes down. So when they're around you, you don't actually trigger the arousal because you act low status, like your behavior keys at you being low status, the girl's attraction starts to go down over time. And if you do make her, like you look at her dead in the eyes, you're very confident, then the arousal goes up. So attraction and arousal are a little bit of different things in my mind, but attraction is just kind of used as a catch-all term for both like someone is attractive and you feel turned on, but technically they're different.
Yeah, for me, I think they do kind of blend a touch, but I do think they're separate things. They definitely do coincide. Like obviously, like if a girl's getting aroused, she's more likely to start like by getting aroused by you, she's more likely to start thinking of you as a higher stats person. But at the same time too, if she's getting more attracted to you, it's more likely to believe. Because I know girls who will have conversations with me, then afterwards, if we ever sleep together or start dating, they'll be like, yeah, well, I was talking to you, I got a little bit horny. I started actually getting a touch wet talking to you.
So if a girl's not attracted to you at like first glance, but then let's say you're just like in a really good mood and you seem high status based on your behavior, then she'll become aroused, and then she rationalizes that she was attracted to you. So then she rationalizes that actually he has really nice eyes, or actually I like his nose, or he's really funny. Then they rationalize why they were attracted, and that's the difference to me. Is arousal is the emotion of like wanting to have sex with someone. And attraction is the feeling that someone is someone who like is a good prospect logically. Like it's more logical. It's like, oh, they're tall, they're good looking, they're my type.
And then they backwards rationalize that guy is like
You were their type.
yeah, which oftentimes they'll still cheat on those guys, unless they could also get the more of the actual attraction baseline. I haven't found a guy that like they'll backwards rationalize they like necessarily without having that guy having some kind of masculine energy underneath. Most times they'll just backwards rationalize it, or like and they'll cheat on the guy on the side. I've seen some instances. The one I think it was Zelly's friend. She was like she dates this guy that she's attracted to. He's a lawyer. He's rich. He's a little older, but yeah, she was talking about how she cheated on him a lot. How
But he
she
doesn't arouse her.
No. Yeah, he doesn't like. She's attracted to him, but she's not aroused. She doesn't want to have sex with him.
Right.
So like, I'm pretty sure she's not actually attracted. She's trying to backwards rationalize her logic, but then isn't actually attracted to him. She's like, oh, I'm attracted to this guy, but no, it's because she wants to like be able to get easy money without work. So now she's backwards rationalizing her taking the action she has because she's not a gold digger. No, she actually really loves her boyfriend. And I've seen some women do
So
that.
she convinces herself
A lot
that
of gold
she's
diggers do
aroused
that.
her when she's really not.
A lot of gold diggers do that, which also say
Aroused
this.
to him.
Some women that actually are dating rich guys, some of them actually are interested in the guys, but there's also those instances where women will backwards rationalize they like the guy too. Like they'll be like, oh, I like this guy, but like
A lot of the guys are often using the women too in those scenarios though. They're like they use their money as a crutch instead of getting arousal.
personality.
They find it's like a find a way around getting genuine desire.
Yeah, I'm reading through these. Actually, here I'm gonna go use the bathroom really quick.
Ah.
I mean, I'm gonna go do some.
All right,
pull-ups.
guys. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I mean, you can stay subscribed to his channel if you want. I mean, that's up to you, but definitely subscribe A.G. Hayden while he's gone. I mean, he left you. I'm here for you. Let's see. I still quarantine. Would you ever come to a game meetup hosted by a city seduction community? Actually, so me and Denton are planning on doing some kind of touring in this coming year. So going to different cities and doing like a free speech, doing boot camps, doing like different kinds of events. We're still working out the details, but we would definitely be hitting up the local communities there to invite them to be a part of that. Greetings from Austria. How's it going, man? How many times has a woman ever approached you just based off your appearance? Let's say if I go out, like when bars and now it happens never during COVID, but if it were actually no, it's happened twice to me since I came to Vegas in the last 2 months. 2 girls just walked by me like hi. Happened twice, and that's in 3 months going out all the time, so not a lot. Normally, I would say maybe once every 2 weeks if I'm going to bars and clubs, a girl will approach me. So not very often. It's almost never the most attractive girls. And the same is true. I've known guys who look like male models, like 6'4", super good looking, ripped, all that stuff. They rarely get approached too. Maybe once a night, maybe twice a night, but it's almost always the less attractive girls that do it because just the status dynamics at play. Like there's a girl who's not super hot by society standards is more likely to be willing to take that risk because if she were to get a guy who's say looks like a male model, her friends would be impressed. It's like impressive. It's kind of like getting a guy who's really rich, right? So it's impressive. It's kind of a status thing, and they're more likely to go for it. But the hottest girls have no desire to do that because they have so many options. It's not hard for them to get a physically good-looking guy. So being good-looking, what I've noticed is it helps a lot if you want to get like unattractive girls. But in terms of the hottest girls, it makes it harder to get them in the sense that since they don't approach you, you can kind of use those girls that approach you as a crutch and never approach the ones that you're really attracted to. And that's why I've seen so many guys that are really good looking. They're with girls that are like not even nearly as good looking as them because it's easy to coast, right? So that's the problem. That's why it's a kind of advantage psychologically to be born not attractive because then you're going to have that fire, right? You're going to have motivation to push yourself much harder and you can't just settle with like mediocrity.
Well, there's so many 1%ers too that you can use to take advantage of to get better than the guys that have the good looks. And I'll say this. So this is how it works in my head. I think there's so little guys that are taking advantage of everything you do. I think most guys, especially nowadays, they have so little going for them that women, in regards to that, they're more likely to go for the guy that has the looks that say that this guy probably is a popular kid. Because what's going to happen is this guy's a higher chance of actually having status. And if he doesn't have status, at least he's better than the losers. least he's better than the other losers. At least he has something going from. At least he has a job. At least he has this. At least he has like some kind of status. In the same way, I see a lot of guys just not really. You guys are just not taking advantage of the shit that you can't be taken advantage of. Like hold eye contact with a girl. Be able to have energy. Be able to joke and tease. Be able to be really witty and funny. Be willing to be dominant. Be willing to like be leader of men. Do some shit for yourself. Build a purpose. Start chasing stuff. Put yourself out there to get rejected. Be able to be free of outcome in a conversation with a woman. Be able to reject her. Be able to screen. Be able to believe that you are on her level, so you don't supplicate. Are you 12 out of 10? Are you a boy or are you a man? Are you capable of risking offending the woman to get her into you? Like to actually have an authentic conversation? Or are you going to talk at her, trying to get her? Are you capable of actually acting that way? There's a difference between abundance and deep abundance, and the difference is that abundance is the idea that I have so much shit, I don't care if I lose stuff. Deep abundance is the idea that I'm inherently worthy of this shit, whether I have it or not. So whether or not this girl in front of me talks to me, I know that I'm worthy of her in one form or another. If this girl doesn't like me, this girl that I'm talking to, the next one that is like, this is gonna like me, I get to choose if I like her too. That's deep abundance. I'm worthy of it.
It's like if I lost my business and I had no money, if you have deep abundance, I can make another business, right? It won't be hard for me to make another business and make the money back again.
Yeah, that's so true. It's like you can take harder risks now too because of that. I think something that a lot of pickup guys need to do. So you need to also trick yourself into thinking that you're like a Calvin Klein model in a way. Because all right, so the idea that you're attractive actually helps. So even though I don't believe that it's that like necessarily the end all be all, I think it's actually
believing you are attractive is helpful.
Yeah, believing you're attractive.
Whether or not it's true, just the belief is helpful.
Believing that no matter what, you're inherently attractive. It's how you assume the positives, how you assume approaching when you approach somebody. You just gotta trick yourself into believing it, which is a lot of brain, like a lot of effort. But as you keep going out, keep approaching like consistently, eventually what will happen is that you're going to just through sheer force of will. When you talk to a girl, you'll be less likely to supplicate. You'll be more likely to hold eye contacts with her. You'll be able to because you have just so many repetitions, learning the right thing to say versus the wrong things to say. So whether or not you have the abundance or not, you can start acting like you do, which will get you even more results. Which as you get the results, you develop even more results. Then as you lose the girls and win them back, lose them, win them back, the ebb and flow eventually teaches you. If it's if the tide's out to sea, it comes back. It's not like the tide's gonna stay out to sea forever. The tide comes back. So you just gotta wait for the tide to come back. So like if I have a hot, cool girlfriend, if this one leaves, I'll probably have another hot, cool girlfriend. Not to mention I'm exponentially getting better with the game. So it'll get hotter for the next one. So you build that abundance.
So one way I delude myself into thinking I'm more attractive than maybe I am is anytime a girl looks at me, whether it looks like it's a positive look or a negative look, she maybe looks and grimaces and then looks away. A lot of guys would say, "Oh, she thought I was creepy," or that's what I would have thought in the past. She thought I was creepy. She was turned off by me. But I just assume, damn, she liked what she saw. She wanted me to approach her. She was interested. She thought I was really attractive. And the first few times, if you do that, you won't believe it at first, but do it enough times and you start to believe it. And it helps motivate you to take the risk of maybe saying like, "Hey, what's up? I just thought you looked interesting." And then if she responds well, you just got proof that at least some girls do find you attractive. And any positive evidence you get strongly outweighs the negative. Like I get rejected, sure, plenty of the time, but if I go out and I approach 10 girls and let's say 6 reject me and 4 like me, those 4 that like if I end up on a date with a girl, I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna forget the rejections. They stop affecting me.
Well, in case anybody's curious, I never get rejected. Okay. Change the subjects before anybody can refute that.
Touching girl afraid of COVID.
No, but look. Boom.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about him. We already talked about him a little bit in the last one. I feel like we may make a dedicated video, but he's not really worth the time. It's just a drama for drama's sake.
Yeah.
I like the arousal explanation, but how is it sparked?
Through being aroused yourself.
That's the simplest way, yeah. Sounds like he's laughing at the the idea that works. So how is it sparked? Yeah, so it's just like if a laugh track, if a show has a laugh track, has been proven that the people are more likely to laugh as well. The emotion spreads, or if someone yawns, you feel a desire to yawn. If someone's angry, you feel angry. So if you're talking to a girl and you feel aroused, you feel desired yourself,
yeah,
then she's gonna feel that off you. and it's gonna spread. As long as if she just finds you absolutely repulsive, or like if she's married and she'll just close herself off to it and like reject you, but that's actually a good thing because nothing was gonna happen anyway.
Yeah.
But that feeling spreads from person to person. Like really practice that. Practice. A couple suggestions I have for that is stop watching like explicit videos or
Negative
anything like
videos.
that. And stop
Shit
fapping.
talking.
Stop fapping, or at least reduce the amount you fap as much as you can. And then you're just gonna feel more sexual energy when you're in person. And then the second one is like when you're out if you see a girl, like focus on what makes her attractive. Don't be thinking logically. She is someone I would want to date, and therefore I should do the game thing. No, you want to feel the desire. Like damn, like when I see her walk, I'm like, whoo, like you should feel that.
You can method act too.
Yeah,
Method acting
let
is-
yourself feel that. There's a lot of different ways you could do that. You could imagine like, what does she look like naked? If you need to do that, for example, you could imagine like making out with her, something like that. Just give yourself that kind of imagination if that helps spark it.
Later. I'll write down a couple things while you're saying that because
Sure. And also another one is like if you hold strong eye contact with a girl, it's actually gonna naturally make you feel turned on and make her feel turned on. Like just leaving that strong eye contact, and when you look at her, you can even think like, "I want you," like "I want you." Like project that feeling and let yourself think that. And as soon as you spark that feeling in yourself, it spreads between you and her. And if she's married, she'll probably reject you, but that's good. And if she's at all open to the possibility something might happen with you, then that feeling spreads, and then that's when you can, ask her out or go on a date or end up pulling her. So that's how you spark that feeling. That's the simplest way.
I have a couple of ways myself. So I visualize sex while masturbating. Like so, instead of like actually masturbating to like porn, visualize sex or visualize like that kind of stuff in your head and masturbate like that. That'll actually make it to where it's like you're not because sex is too.
It's
like, porn
over.
is stimulating.
Right. It's not what you see in real life because
Uh-huh.
women are wearing clothes in real life. So
You need more to actually.
So it makes you used to this higher level stimulation. Then when you see like a hot girl walking by, it doesn't really affect you as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can actually masturbate and still like kind of work on it.
So
too,
don't do it
to a
until
lesser
you
extent.
can do it with your imagination. Until you're so
Yeah.
turned on that you don't even need to watch something.
Mhm.
And then if you do that, because I don't think NoFap works for me. I mean, I've tried it, but what's better is just limiting the amount to the point that I have some sexual energy, that I'm not like depleted. But after a while, it becomes overwhelming. And I start to get like emotionally weird. Like if I do NoFap for too long, it just makes me imbalanced.
Well, I think it's also too. I think most people actually with sex in regards to it, I think they're actually repressing their sexual urges. Like so, I think there's a little bit of fear from others.
Shame.
Like sexual shame. Like you're afraid to, like there's almost blockage. So for me, I found that as I got better with this game stuff, I started finding my sex drive. So when I was in high school and junior high, I used to I masturbate everywhere and like literally like I was pretty high sex drive. But at a certain point, I felt like it dropped for a while, and I don't know why. But then as I started getting better at game, it came back, and now I have like a really high sex drive. And I wonder like if it was like because of sexual repression. Maybe because I think I was beating myself up during that time when I was masturbating like I was, and so I'd be mean to myself. And eventually, because of the pain of beating myself up, eventually I stopped doing it or stopped getting sexually turned on.
I have a theory about that. It's like an evolutionary theory, because I've noticed that I've had several friends who said they had no sex drive, but they used to. And the thing I noticed is isolation. So they weren't around attractive women very much. They weren't actually interacting with them in their general life. And so I think if you aren't meeting attractive women, then what? It's 5 inches enough. Yeah. I mean, just get good at. There's other things you can get good at that would make up for any lack there. Can't really go too much detail on a platform like YouTube.
I will.
I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, it's your channel.
Let's risk it. Let's ride the edge, bro. Let's do it.
Go ahead, man.
What do you want to talk about? The R word?
No.
I didn't say it.
Never again.
Oh, got you. Okay.
That word doesn't exist.
Not the R word you guys are thinking of, by the way. Or maybe it is.
Talk a little about AA for beginners in the game. What's your basic template? You could probably have a really fast explanation for how to
I
go
don't
for
have
AA.
a fast explanation, but I guess my overarching one is it's caused by the fact I know where it comes from. It comes from the idea that the actions you take throughout your everyday life create the narrative that you are, And so eventually what happens is because of inaction, the act of inaction of not approaching, you rationalize that. And to go against it, you have all these rationalizations to tell you not to approach. So for example, I'm not going to talk to her because people are going to think I'm weird, or she's going to think I'm creepy, or I'm going to risk finding out that I'm not actually attractive or some shit, which is not even the case, but that's what you're telling yourself. And then you have all these years of rationalizations. You're going to have a hard time initially approaching, but as you do it, you start taking the action of a guy that believes that he has a reason to approach. Eventually, the actions you take are going to start feeding the idea that I'm an extroverted person. It's not a big deal talking to people. It's actually exciting. Then when it becomes exciting, it's like you get drawn to approach as opposed to like being like repelled by it, which I think is the big thing. You got to baby step yourself into it. Atomic Habits, if you guys haven't read it, that's actually really good for approaching and pickup in general. So that's something you guys should definitely look into.
Which the basic concept of Atomic Habits is build a micro habit and then let momentum take over instead of what most people do is when they have a goal, I've done this like a million times, honestly. At one point I set a goal for working out, and I would work out 4 hours a day, and that was my minimum. And I also had to eat 1,600 calories a day maximum. And that's very stressful. If you have this really hard goal to achieve, it becomes stressful. And then, so if you have a goal, I'm going to approach like 100 girls a week or something like that. It's going to be very stressful, and the whole time you're out, you're draining your willpower and you're going to end up burning out. So what you can do instead is the Atomic Habit strategy, which is I'm just going to like leave my house and walk towards or like drive towards the venue where I can approach. Like the smallest possible movement in the right direction, which at first it kind of sounds dumb. Like, well, that's not even going to accomplish anything. But what happens is the hardest part is starting. Like the hardest part of working out is going to the gym. Once you're at the gym, it gets a lot easier. The hardest part of making one of these videos is starting. Once you start doing it, the momentum starts to take over. The same thing goes for pickup. So if you're going out and you're doing that walk, the momentum will get you to want to do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So maybe the first day you just like walk to the park and you don't even do any approaches. The second day, maybe you say hi to some girls that walks by, but you never do an actual approach. But over time, because you're giving yourself such an easy goal that anyone could do, you let the momentum build. The momentum naturally builds, and then in say a few weeks or in a month or 2 months, you're actually looking forward to going out and approaching because you haven't been overly relying on willpower, because you've been doing it because you want to, not because you have to. When you feel like you have to do something, it's draining. When you're doing something because you want to do it, it's invigorating. And the thing is, you do have to make some kind of goal, because if you don't make a goal, you're not going to go out at all. Like just like if you don't have a diet goal or a fitness goal, you're not going to go out at all. You have to have some kind of goal, but make it as small as possible so that it doesn't drain your willpower. And that's the way to get over approach anxiety. And the second thing is start small. If you can't say, hey, I thought you were cute and I had to meet you, start by just like, as you walk by a girl, say, good afternoon, or say like, I like your shirt, or anything along those lines. And once you do that a few times and you feel ready, then go up to a girl and say, ask for directions. Like, where's somewhere good to eat nearby? Right? That's a simple one you can say. Where's somewhere good to eat nearby? Once you're comfortable doing that, then actually go up to a girl with the intention, showing your intent. So, hey, I just had to say I really like your style and I wanted to meet you. And then once you're able to do that, then the next level would be like start asking for girls' numbers. So that's the basic way to get over approach anxiety. Set a goal. Maybe I'm gonna like go walk around the park, or I'm gonna go to the mall, or wherever there's women 4 times a week, and choose the days, and I'm gonna do it at least 1 minute. That's it. And then just trust that the momentum will take over and that you're going to do more than the minimum, but the minimum is pushing you in the right direction. That's what I found to be the most effective.
For me, it was kind of like more breaking through a wall. Once I started like kind of pulling and whatnot, it became a lot easier. With the approach anxiety stuff, it just takes time and effort. So you got to surround yourself with people that approach, where it's normal for them to be extroverted. You have to go find like content like the ones you're watching right now. Because like, so your brain thinks like as you're watching this video that we're a part of your tribe, like legitimately. That's actually why you like watching content on YouTube oftentimes, or movies or TV. What your brain will do is you'll either put yourself into a person in the show, and you'll be that person experiencing your friends, or you're, like as you guys are watching right now, it's like you guys are pretty much like the third person in this conversation. From your perspective or your brain's perspective, you're the third person in this conversation. If you're also in the comments here, maybe you're also in a conversation with the rest of the people here and you're connecting with them. Your brain has a way of kind of putting people in that energy. So as you guys are watching this right now, technically your brain's putting us into your tribe. So now you can actually absorb our culture, which our culture is like approach. If you don't, you're a bitch.
Someone asked a couple of times what I was saying about isolation and sex drive. And basically, so I think a big part of sex drive, if you're not seeing attractive women in your day-to-day life, at a certain part, your brain subconsciously thinks there are no women around to have sex with, so there's no reason for me to produce, the sexual energy, and it starts to go down. That's my theory. Maybe that's not the exact reason, but what I have noticed is guys who aren't leaving the house much, they have a job where there aren't attractive women. They go for a time like that, and eventually their sex drive goes as low as like almost zero. Like they get almost no sex drive. It just takes a huge dip. So one way to increase your sex drive is just going out, going to places where there are attractive women. And even if you're not approaching, just seeing them, like, right? If you go to college, just like walking around the campus, going to a mall, going wherever, that will help actually build a sex drive too.
Yeah. When you start also having sex with more girls, it becomes more normal for your brain to be like, oh, if I approach a girl, there's a chance that I might have sex with this girl, or there's a good chance. Like I found that this is really bad when I first started a game. I would go to bars, and this is really actually I don't even know if I should say this. So I used to go to a country bar, and everybody at the country bar would be drinking beer. So whenever I would go home with a girl, the girl tasted of beer, and so then I got like a hard on if I smelled beer. So my brain was rationalizing when I smell beer, that means sex is coming. So it was like the dinging of the bell kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a club or you go to a bar, you go to the streets, and you have a good ratio of closing, and if you approach girls and you actually have sex with the girls you approach, your brain's gonna be like, oh, there's actually a chance I can have sex with these girls. Then you approach with that energy, it actually makes the sex more likely you can hit. Because when you approach with energy that says, I can have sex with you, it means that you had past experience with girls that look similar to her. So now the girl gets even more turned on when you approach her. Because like, oh, he thinks he has sex with me, so he must think he's of value in the tribe. Because no other guy would come up to me with a horny energy, unless he actually was a leader, unless he thought for sure that I'd want to sleep with him. So he must be the leader of the tribe, if not another tribe. Yeah, I'll fuck you. Yeah, why not? Your tribe sounds awesome. I'm gonna jump ship and go to your tribe instead. Like I have a lot more to win by going to your tribe than staying in my tribe. And
Yeah, it's show, don't tell. It's what your behavior shows, what it implies.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's important to remember, people were having sex before there was language, so women had to be able to tell whether a guy was attractive based on his behavior, based on the way he acted.
Because you don't have Ferraris. We didn't have Ferraris for like 2 million years or so. So you're not evolutionary. Girls are not evolutionarily evolved to like see a Ferrari and think this guy is attractive. But she does it with status cues, with the way you act, the way you believe in yourself. That actually makes a lot more sense than maybe like flashing cash in front of the girl, or saying, "Hey, look at my house, look at my mansion. I got a mansion, girl." I don't think there were any mansions 2 million years ago, Ferraris, or Gucci purses or Gucci wallets or something like that. Like
there may have been hordes of food, so maybe if you like hoard a bunch of like meat, carry a deer around with you, like, look, I offer
carry it on
this
your back
to
and
you.
the horns like shit.
Then maybe that'll
Our
turn,
big fruit
turn around.
basket. Hey, it worked with flowers.
I don't know. Fruit basket might say you're one of the women, so it might have the opposite effect.
Like a hunter-gatherer.
Because you're a gatherer, you're not a hunter.
Gatherer, yeah.
So someone said, ever dealt with police security during pickup?
No,
Personally,
never.
I've never. Interesting.
Okay.
So I've never dealt with police. That's never been a problem, and I've been kicked out of bars when I was really drunk, but it wasn't because of pickup. It was because I was really drunk.
Yeah, I did because I was when I was younger, I went through a really hardcore like rebellion phase where because I was so shy and like nice, where I was like, fuck this, I don't ever want to be nice again, and I went fucking into being full on asshole mode, which is why I'm such a level-headed person nowadays. So for me, like, so there were a couple times. One was like when I was out with my friends and we saw this store we've been searching forever, and it was at night during a riot in Chico, and I'm leading my group of friends with some girls and shit. I'm like, it's this way, yonder, follow me, promised land, to the promised land. And they all started following me. I didn't know that the cops had blocked off the street because they didn't have any tape or anything like that. It was just an empty street, and I didn't think much of it. Well, anyways, next thing I see or feel is like a guy hitting me from the side, me going flying, my phone going flying, me hitting the pavement, going skidding across the pavement as this big fat cop like is flying over the top of me. And I was like, oh shit. They picked me up and they threw me back across the line.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been punched a few times too, quite a few. I've also been in a lot of confrontations, but that was because
You've been punched quite a few times.
not 6 or 7.
What caused these situations? Because I've never been punched this many years,
alright, so,
and I do aggressive things sometimes.
Oh no, well I push not in bad ways, not in offensive ways, but I didn't mind
How
putting
many times
myself.
you get knocked out when you got punched? Because there's a big difference in getting kind of punched and getting actually hurt.
Here, I don't think I get knocked out too easily. So check it out. So I had these. So I told you this story before, probably a couple times, but maybe some people heard this. I had this client here in Vegas. We're leaving Excess, and we were in the parking garage, and we're about to I'm about to jump in my car, take him to his place, and then go back to mine. Well, we're getting to the car, and there's 4 people in the parking lot. 3 of them are guys, these Irish guys from the club, and one of them is this really pretty blonde girl. And my guy goes, "Hey, that's the girl that I was talking to in the club. Should I reapproach her?" And I look over at her and I think about it for a second. I go, "Yeah, definitely." And so, well, these guys were 3 Irish boxer type guys. They were just these those kind of mentality, energy type guys. They rolled up their sleeves a little bit too many cuffs to try to show off how much they like the gym and creatine. So, anyways,
creatine works.
Yeah. Well, I told this guy, I'm like, when you're talking to a male guy, there's 2 strategies that work. One is ignoring him completely, and the second one is befriending him, and ignoring not seeing him as a threat.
So if you got punched, you probably didn't do either of those successfully.
Well, he did the one that he shouldn't have done in that situation, which was ignore the guys. So the guy puts his hand out to shake it and stuff like that. Hey, baby. Puts his hand out to shake it like that. Well, my guy is ignoring him, just talking to the girl, and I'm about maybe 20 or 30 feet away. I'm like, fuck. And I start running over there. Well, I see the hair on the back of this guy's neck go up in there, like a touch, it was that kind of I can see that kind of anger. He bristled up and stuff, and I saw him start pulling his hand back like this to hit my clients. So fuck. So I grabbed him by the back of the shirt and I pulled him away. Last second, the guy misses him. Then he starts, basically, my friend, as I'm pulling away, he starts spinning and running away, realizing what was going on. He just sprints away. Well, now those 3 guys are close enough to me, and they're all squaring up to me like, fuck. So the one guy comes at me, and I start swinging, he starts swinging. He clipped me in the cheek, I clipped him in the cheek.
Who started swinging first?
They did. The guy in the front did.
So you were in the right.
Yeah. Well, then the other 2 guys start trying to run around the sides, try to surround me. So I start backing up. Well, we're in a parking lot, so I get between these 2 cars, and I'm punching with this one guy in the front. Well, the other 2 guys are coming around the sides of the cars trying to surround me.
These guys having no honor when it's an unfair matchup.
Yeah.
It seems to the most bitch mother fucking thing you can do. You have multiple people fighting one person. That's it's so unethical.
Yeah, well,
one person fighting another, okay, but if you got 3 guys, you're all gonna pound. That's just so cowardly. I don't see why that isn't a stereotype that's cowardly.
It gets dangerous.
These are the masculine guys. They're we're so tough, but then we're gonna do this extremely cowardly thing. It doesn't make sense.
I never
to me.
understood
It's
myself.
Weird. It doesn't make sense.
I think it's supposed to be loyalty.
Tough guys shouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, I think it's supposed to be loyalty to your friends kind of thing. But at the same time, too, it's what's the loyalty there? Your friend's not gonna get hurt. But if you start teaming up on this poor one guy, now he's definitely gonna get hurt. And I'm gonna say this. I was just trying to get my friend out of this. I was trying to get him out of the situation. I wasn't trying to it's not I was throwing fists first or anything like that. I wasn't aggravating the situation. They were coming at me. Well, they're coming around the sides. I'm backing up faster because I'm they're about to surround me, and I'm starting to freak out, and I'm trying to keep this guy in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I started going back faster. Well, I didn't pick my foot up enough, so I tripped on a little crack in the curb, and I hit the ground. I hit my butt fucking hard, but my adrenaline was going, so I started going back like this, walking backwards, trying to get back because they're gonna get behind these cars. Yeah. I know if I get behind this car, then they're gonna line up again, and they can't surround me. If I move them one at a time until I get back out of there and probably spin around and run. So I'm going back like this. My hands are scuffed and shit. Well, at this point, my client from the other side of the street yells, "Hey, don't worry, Denton. I'm calling the cops. I'm calling the cops." And I'm
that's the way to. Yeah, that's gonna be fast enough.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, "You fucker." Well, anyways,
maybe saying that would scare them off. Was his thinking? So that was smart. If you did that on purpose, if you did that out of cowardice, that's bad. But if you did that out of realizing the situation, then that's 4D chess right there.
That actually is a really good point, and he actually was an amazing poker player too, to be honest.
So maybe it was his poker technique kind of came through there, because that probably is the smartest thing to do in that situation. Because you're still a number 2 to 3.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Honestly, there was probably not much of a chance of him helping me in retrospect.
Small guy.
Yeah, he was kind of he's a little bit of he wasn't he was a poker player and a little bit of a hypochondriac,
not good signs. I mean, if there once I saw a bar fight where this guy was in crutches, he's just walking around, and this other guy starts accosting him. They get in a fight. The guy takes off his crutches and like he does a ninja move where he like flies down, and then he trips the other guy and gets him in a fucking like chokehold.
Oh my god.
And knocks him the fuck out, and he gets back on his crutches without saying anything. He just continues walking. It was the ultimate badass. It was from a movie. It was the most amazing shit I've ever seen.
Dude, I thought for a second that it was real. I was like, dude, who is
no,
this
that,
guy?
No, that was real.
It was real.
It felt like a movie, but it
Oh.
actually happened. Yeah,
That is so fucking badass.
Yeah,
That's a story I would tell forever. That guy too
was
is just
amazing.
dude,
that was me.
just-
Wait, no, that was me. That happened.
Yeah. So you were living vicarious. Yeah, there's one time that I knocked these like 5 guys out. we need to
No big deal.
We need to start embellishing this bragging thing.
Yeah,
actually
we
need
do.
to- yeah.
I got into many fights, but I always win. So no.
You know,
Come
one
at me,
time I
bro.
was in a 6
Come at me,
fight
bro.
between 6 porn stars, and you know they were all hot. And,
Not the weird looking porn stars.
yeah,
but like
they're all famous,
the
like
good ones.
Riley Reed's, and you know this is totally real.
You probably
No.
just got sued.
No, but I was really ornery when I was younger, so I was just like I would push things really hard to see how far I could push them.
Okay.
Like I just because I also watched a lot of Julian,
Yeah.
and he kind of incentivized me to kind of like be like, yeah, fuck, you know, I'm gonna say what I want to say, and then like which actually I'm kind of moving into now, but with more social intelligence than before.
So for me, I've been going out 7 years, and there were points where I've tried things that are extremely over the top. There was a point where I was testing out going up to couples, so a girl with a guy, and I would say, "Hey, do you want a real man?" to the couple, and they're grinding on the dance floor or something like that. So I would do approaches that were very obnoxious. I was just curious. I'm not recommending it. I was just curious what was possible. Like I was just trying to push the boundaries, see what would happen. And I still haven't gotten into a fight, even though I've done things like that after all these years. I've never gotten into a fight directly because of pickup. I've had some guys like kind of threaten it, right? Like hint, like start squaring up. That happens. That happens occasionally, maybe once a month or so. But it's never actually led to a fight because I just don't escalate it. When that happens, I just de-escalate instead of escalating. And most guys, I mean, maybe you just got a really punchable face. I don't know. Most guys don't get in a lot of fights from pickup. It's something that could happen occasionally, but you kind of have to play a part most of the time to allow it to happen. It
I don't
doesn't just
know.
happen by
Yeah.
itself.
I don't know. Like there is a good. Well, nowadays I really don't get in fights anymore because, I think either one I'm more socially aware or two, I'm able to more verbally handle situations, or two it's like that I just give off an energy like that people don't want to fight because they think I know something they don't. Which if they actually knew anything, they would know that I don't know how to fight, and that I'm a total. I'm just more good at acting like I can on occasion. But yeah, most guys don't really think like
So
most guys don't mess with me anymore.
Easter says, "How can I get out of apathy?" And I would say the way to get out of apathy is just give yourself very small wins in life, because apathy is just like a lack of motivation to do anything. And if you start getting small wins, your emotions start to go up, you start to have faith in yourself, you start to have belief in what's possible, because apathy is basically the lack of belief that your life could be good, so you just stop feeling emotions. But if you increase your self-efficacy, which is like the belief that you could improve your life situation, then apathy goes away. So the way to do that is, it goes back to the atomic habits thing, so just like improve your fitness, but takes very small steps to start. So like commit to, let's say do cardio, just like at least 1 minute a day. Commit to read 1 page of a book today, to meditate 1 minute per day, to let's say work out for at least a minute a day. Things like that, like whatever, or build skills, like learn an instrument, anything that you're interested in. Spend 1 minute dedicating to those habits nice habits, and then that will start to build up, and those little wins will start to, they give you dopamine hits. They give you this sense that you've had a win, and then those wins start to turn into momentum, and the momentum starts to turn into you believing that you can have bigger goals, and you'll start to you'll go from 1 minute to, interesting book to be, can you does it have anything that like you're reading it while you're interesting. I'm gonna make this my Tinder profile picture, like just holding this book. Gotta be very careful though, because that has stuff inside that you don't want to have.
Is 120 milligrams a lot? I'm trying to think right now. Hey, John, is 120 milligrams a lot?
Depends of what.
Yeah, right.
Is 120 milligrams of gummies CBD? Is that a lot? Just a random question we want to know.
I mean, it could be of anything. I mean, like if you guys want to, because
I'd be careful with that. Don't.
Oh, gotcha,
Don't put that in the frame.
Gotcha. It was never in the frame. That's a really good idea. I'm glad you got that. Where did you get it from?
The drugstore.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, that's
Actually, here, I'll leave that here then.
Okay, so this guy says groups of chimps only attack when they have a advantage, overwhelming numbers. So it's an evolutionary reason, which makes sense, but it still contradicts the energy of being like a tough guy, right? Because it is inherently cowardly. So it's weird that that doesn't counteract it, or like
Yeah.
how they rationalize that, which I guess they do, but
Well, I
it's,
think it
it's
comes
surprising
from
to me.
it comes from a lack of like self awareness, I think, or like people don't usually audit their actions. I don't think like there's a good portion of society that doesn't really audit their actions. So like I'm a tough guy, they'll do things that they think are tough. Then like when their friend gets jumped or something like that, or like they start jumping another guy, they start teaming up on them. Like their back is rationalizing because everybody's trying to rationalize how awesome they are all the time. At least narcissists are. They probably think they're more awesome for doing it because now they're a tough guy.
Mhm.
Even though we're looking at it as like, oh, dude, that's not tough to team up on one guy. That's like are you fucking around? Like if you team up on one guy too, you risk like killing him. Like 1-on-1 is you have a lot less chance of like actually hurting somebody, but when you team up on a guy, I've seen like guys really get like pushed up against a wall like by like maybe like 5, 6, 10 guys, and the guy will maybe like start getting beat up and then gets knocked down. They start kicking up against the wall so they can really get some really good ones in. I almost like me and Arthur were walking by one at one point, and we were for a half second I was about to like try to like talk him like be like try to like calm him the fuck down because they were gonna hurt this guy like really bad, and Arthur grabbed me by the shirt and said no, we're not, that's not our, like we're not gonna fuck around with that, it's
Right.
not a problem. And I said Jesus, and we just kept moving, and then one of
I
us
would call the cops.
we had to
anyways.
call the cops, yeah.
Okay.
But it was
Um,
like it was
Because I saw
brutal.
some guy just like he was threatening everyone who walked by. He's like, I'm gonna mess you up, and gotta call the cops when that's happening. Wait, there was a question. And by the way, there's in my like there's always red flags that like you're about to get in a dangerous situation. And anytime I've almost got myself like in trouble physically, like in the risk of physical harm, there were so many red flags that I ignored and didn't pay attention to. Or I got like too drunk and I end up getting in someone's van who I don't really know and they're really sketchy,
yeah.
but I don't notice it because I'm too drunk. And then I got robbed once. They had a gun on the seat and they just kind of pulled it out and they're like, let's go to the bank, and they like asked me to withdraw money from the ATM, and they had a gun, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. So, but there were so many red flags that was like that they were
Can you
sketchy
warm it up actually?
that I ignored, and also just if you get really drunk, you're more likely to put yourself in harmful situations, so it's another reason not to get wasted.
Oh yeah, well, it's I had times where what was that situation?
Do I ever feel embarrassed after videos like the Conor McGregor one? That's kind of the point of them, though. That's part of the reason I put it is because it's not like it doesn't make me look like I'm trying to be cool or succeeding to be cool. So it helps me like let go of my ego, and I'm just curious how people react to those kinds of videos. It's just different ideas and see what happens. And ones like that where it was all rejections. I mean, while I'm doing the approaches, I'm not embarrassed really at all. I just find it fun, right? It's just entertaining. That's kind of why I do it. If it gets a lot of downvotes, I guess that gets me a little bit, right? When a video gets a ton of downvotes,
Yeah.
but not that much. I mean, I still post similar videos despite what happens. I'm just, I'm always trying different things and different angles and ways to. I want to have hardcore content that's really helpful, but I also want to reach guys who haven't heard about pickup and bring them into pickup. Right? I want to get people interested in pickup. Now is not the ideal time for cooking, but
That's chill. The whole point of this is to be more relaxed.
okay. Well, all right.
Like I actually kind of like the relaxed vibe too.
Avery's
Kinda-
the son of RSD Brad and RSD Todd.
I made a very bad joke about that, by the way, too.
Did
Like,
you?
I did. Then I deleted it, and I was very proud of myself for doing that. I was being a good
I
person.
mean, I'm
I
like
feel like
Brad
I
with a
actually
better
feel like
nose.
I feel like a better person for doing it than most.
Huh.
I mean, some people would say that about me, but I wouldn't say that about myself. Wait, I got to do it once. I mean, I'm awesome. I mean, like, people would say that about me, but I don't say it about myself necessarily, but that's what people say about me. I think I did a good job.
I'll be moving out of the country in less than 6 months. What's your advice on building a social circle from scratch? Love you guys, by the way.
Focus goes, energy flows. Like how to keep an eye out for what you want. Like I would actually design a social circle. So what I did was I looked at David Dobrik before I met you guys.
Dobrik?
Dobrik, yeah. When COVID first hit, and I said I want a social circle like that. And I asked myself, how can I have that? I'm like, well, probably have to be like David Dobrik, have that energy of just being like a true, real friend and honest person. And then I design it, I'm like, I want this in my social circle, I want this in my social circle. And that's when I like ended up meeting you probably like 2 months later. And then John was ended up moving in on the couch one night. We started like hanging out with his, workaholic cast. So yeah, for me it was like the focus goes energy flows, like design, like you now can create a social circle, like the kind of social circle you want. Why not make it as crazy and as cool as you want? Why not make like a blueprint for it and then be like, these are the people I want in my social circle, and then your RAS is gonna start looking for that kind of shit. You start drawing those kind of people to you because now you're noticing it.
So one thing I want to ask for, what do you guys think of the having ambient noise and stuff? Does that just add to the vibe, or is it distracting and it messes up the audio quality? Because I'm concerned about that, but like, know your guys' opinion, and we'll do it the way that you guys prefer.
Here, I got you, man. Hey, Zoe. Here. We'll do that in a little bit. Don't worry about that.
Well, maybe they like it. I mean, if they like it, it's fine.
I'll clean the dishes, but don't worry about it. A little bit, yeah. It's okay.
Building a social circle, that was the topic, right? Give me a second. Adds to the vibe, one guy says. Another guy says distracting. 2 and 1. Okay, how to return to having fun approaching after a while. Try new things, right? It's simple, like do things that you don't usually do. So if you usually approach with direct approaches, try indirect approaches, or try like using prank approaches, right? Use like cheesy pickup lines and see if you can make them work. Push yourself in different ways. Like if you don't usually approach mixed groups, try approaching more mixed groups, or try pulling in a very short amount of time. Try going for the pull very soon. Just experiment with doing things you haven't done. Go out with different people, right? Find new wings. You can go to different locations. If you're in a bigger city, like try different venues. Just do different things and push yourself farther to do new things that you haven't tried before or that you haven't done a lot. Even like look up techniques or lines you can use and try using some. Like try using different styles, different lines. Try like read about eye contact and like try making intense eye contact. See what happens. Just like new novelty. Novelty is the way to keep it interesting. You'll be better than squat. I don't think that's like an unachievable goal. I don't know. I haven't really seen his infield. I don't know how good pickup alpha. I don't know that he's not good, but the little I've seen, it didn't seem like he was the best to what I saw. For building a social circle from scratch, if you're going to a bigger city, see if there's a local pickup group and join that group, because that's going to give you just other people have the shared interest to pick up, and that's a good place to start. So gameglobal.net, gameglobal.net/groups, and you can find if there's a group in the city you're moving to. If not, you can, like when you go out, let's say you're going to a bar, look for guys that are approaching women that are out gaming, which there's always going to be guys doing that, and then like approach them and say, hey, what's up, guys? Like you guys here are meeting girls. They're like, yeah. And then go do some approaches with them, and then if you get along, then you'll build the male side of the social circle in terms of meeting. And also meetup.com is a great resource. You can go to whatever interests you have, there's going to be meetups for that, and you can build your social circle through that. So if you're into yoga, you can find yoga groups. If you're into hiking, you can find hiking groups, like whatever you're into. If you're a musician, if you're a writer, you can find people with shared interests, and that's a great way to grow a social circle of people that are going to be beneficial to you, right? That you're going to have value to offer each other. And then the last thing is, for female social circle, when you go out, make sure to friend zone some girls. Like approach some girls, like get their number, even if you're not attracted to them, just have a platonic vibe and try to hang out with them. And then they can introduce you to their friends. Then you'll have, like, if they go out, you can go out and meet them there and hang out with them some of the time. Then you have women in your life they have as a social circle, but friend zone some of them. Don't friend zone all of them. Because some guys will take that advice like, I'm going to friend until I have a good social circle. No, if you meet a girl and you have chemistry, don't friend zone her. Like, just go out with her. But friend zone some girls that you approach, not the ones you like the most, but the ones that you don't have very strong just sexual chemistry with, and then you can build a female social circle that way.
And what's funny about that too is if you actually are an attractive guy and you become like attractive through pickup, if you actually put girls in your social circle, oftentimes they'll try to sleep with you anyways. I do have like a lot of female friends that I had to like kind of get to calm down with me and start, because I would take girls out on dates around them and then they'd start like being like just out of hand and shit like that, being like jealous. And I'm like, dude, you're my friend. Like, quit, like, chill out. I do have that with like female friends sometimes where they'll do shit like that. They can be a little bit catty as a heads up, but like, which I think is hilarious because girls are always, why can't I have male friends? Well, why can't a guy that's attracted to women also have female friends? You guys are like, you guys don't understand, like, you guys are acting like you don't understand, but you never have had, because you guys have almost never had a guy that could truly become friends with you without also wanting sex, because it's so rare. So like when they do find that guy, like, oh my god, like I'm gonna get with you and whatnot, I want to like date you and shit like that. Why are you dating these other women? Why are you not dating me? And it's like, dude, like seriously, like you're literally like, you're just complaining like you like last month about how you can't have male friends, and now like you're mad at me for not wanting to be more than you with friends. Like that's just kind of messed up and a total double standard.
Mm-hmm.
In my personal opinion, so there are some girls that don't understand that vibe. That like when you're actually an attractive guy, so they'll try to get with you or try to like close you because you don't want to be with them, and then like that's just kind of annoying in upon itself. My personal opinion.
Well, there's one girl I approached, and it like after I approached, I realized I wasn't interested in her. And this was like a few days ago, and I said, "Oh, sorry, I'm actually gay, but if I wasn't, I'll be all over you. I'm sorry." And she said, "Are you sure you're gay? I don't think you're really gay." And she starts touching me, like she actually started like feeling me up. And there was another girl, and I got the infield of this. I'm gonna put this on my channel, a.g.hayden, selfless plug or shameless plug. It's an infield where I approach a girl, and so I approach her, and then I say, "Oh, sorry, I'm married." I said, "Sorry, I'm married." And then as soon as she does that, her friend actually says, "Pull up your shirt, show him your," and she's like, "Yeah," and it's, "No, I'm feeling infield. I don't want that on it." So she's trying to, flash me because I said I'm married, and then she's like, "Yeah, but is your wife here?" Her friend's like, she literally says that, and she's like, "Yeah, like how, like she's not here with you." They're like propositioning me because they find out I have a wife. It made them more interested rather than less interested because now I'm something they can't have. And so sometimes when you friend zone a girl, that's a way to get her to chase you. Funny enough.
That dime girl that I was talking to her about my girlfriend stuff.
Yeah.
She was talking
the
to
Russian one.
Yeah, she was trying to get me to break.
She was so
like
hot.
yeah. Well, she was trying to
If
get
it was me, I
to
probably would have.
I know.
If I had a girlfriend and she's propositioning me, I'd be so tempted because she was really pretty, and she actually said out loud like she was into you. Like,
hey, John.
Oh. Oh, you need an iPad right there.
Did you?
who would win an arm wrestle? All right, let's get a table.
Me.
Definitely
Fuck
not
you.
you. No offense.
Yeah, no.
You don't
Let's
have
go.
a chance.
You would like
You want to go?
Yes.
Like, you have no chance.
Put money on it.
I would put money on it.
Do it.
I'd put
$100.
$50 on it.
$50.
Like, you don't have.
You're
Like, I don't want to
so
like.
confident.
I
Why
don't
was
take too much money from
you're
it.
always so confident in everything.
I would actually, honestly, so we've gone to the gym together, and in terms of biceps, triceps, we're about equal, but he has stronger shoulders. So I think he would probably win an arm wrestle, but it would be close, I would say.
Well, if you do right on lefty.
I'm left-handed too.
Oh, shit. I never knew that, actually.
Yeah. Although
Wow.
my right arm's stronger, because I'm not left-handed with everything.
Hey, yo,
Wink, wink.
Johnny boy. What, are you left or right-handed?
Right.
Plebeian, look at him.
Do you know
He's
left-handed
right-handed.
people have higher IQ on average? That's a fact.
Yeah, so we're smarter than you.
You can use that. Any
Dumbass.
girl, the fact that you're left-handed comes up, and you're like, I'm smarter than you.
Yeah, we're
By the
smarter
way,
than you,
it's a
bro.
scientific fact.
Yeah. Do you want to cry?
It's racist.
It's racist.
Just because you're white, you think you're superior.
Wait, because I'm 132nd Indian Cherokee, motherfucker? You see this? It's because I'm Indian.
Whoa.
Native American?
Just like Elizabeth Warren,
You
you're
took
a
my land. Oh, no, you didn't
true
take my
American.
land.
You're a Native American.
You didn't specifically take my land, but
Yeah,
people
give him
like
his
you
land
did.
back, bro.
Yeah, motherfucker. I deserve something. At least my 132nd side does. The other side's oppressing the other.
When on dates, how long on average are they? I'd say about 1 to 2 hours. But no, actually, they end up like from the date to pulling her back to my place, 1 to 2 hours, and then sometimes as many as like
You kiss
4
him
more
on the
hours
first
back
date?
at my place.
Do you kiss them on the first date?
Sometimes.
I almost always sleep with them on the first
Yeah.
week rather than going for the kiss. I don't really see the point to like the good night kiss. That's usually not.
I do turn to girl like I've been turning a lot of girls down this year for sex after a date.
No, what I meant to say was like, do you kiss them on the date or do you take them home and then?
Yeah, I do it at home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I usually don't, like, the last several dates I went on, there was no physical escalation whatsoever. I hadn't even touched the girl until she was in a room with me. Like, no, and it's not necessary. That's one of those things people teach. Like, you gotta physically escalate. If it feels
It doesn't
natural, it can be good, but it's absolutely not necessary. You don't need to touch someone to turn them on. I mean, have you ever been turned on the internet without having to touch someone?
That's actually
Yes.
a really weird myth of the community.
It is a
too.
weird myth.
Because
It's
I
not
used
true.
to get physical early on with girls. Like I would
Even
like,
RSD taught that, I think. Like, they taught a lot of physical touching, a lot of leading.
making out with girls in the club.
meeting-
Like Julian, they called him the makeout king when he first started working for RSD.
I mean, if you're
because-
doing it for like coaching to show off, then maybe that's like maybe they're doing it for that reason. It's a little different, just to show like that girl's attractive. Here's evidence. I guess.
yeah, well,
But
it definitely does kind of fuck up your results.
arm wrestle challenge. How well do Asian guys do in pickups? Some do very well. The main reason that I see a lot of Asian guys not do well is because they believe it's impossible for them because the stereotypes that like, you see the dating app statistics or whatever. And so they think it can't be done, and then they don't really try because they're already starting with that belief. But when Asian guys genuinely try, I've had multiple. Like I had one coaching client that we did a 2-week program, and he'd never pulled a girl from pickup before, and he ended up pulling 4 times. And he ended up actually with a girlfriend like 3 weeks after the boot camp. He had a girlfriend that he met who was a white girl, which I don't think that really matters. But there is this like myth, like, oh, it's hard to get white. I mean.
No.
Hard to get white girls, and they're
I used
special.
to-
The white girls are probably, I don't even know if you should want them because they're not,
No.
I don't think they're the best.
Well, I honestly, every time I would think that I had some kind of limitation or that some girl liked me, it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. So there went a period where I thought that only Asian girls liked me. So I went like an entire 6 months of just sleeping with Asian girls. Then I thought that black girls didn't like me for a long time. Then I found out that it was just that belief. And then I slept with like maybe I slept with quite a few in like a 6-month period. And then I thought that like, so every time I found that I thought that some type of race or culture didn't like me, it was oftentimes like I found out that it was false. And the big thing with a lot of you guys is you never want to mention anybody's race. So you gotta think like this: how does every other guy act? So every other guy, if you're talking to a taller girl, the first thing they're gonna say is that they're tall. So Yang in the comments here, I remember when you said that when we were trying to wing the client this last weekend,
Perfect.
you said to that girl that like early on, you said to her that oh, you're tall when I brought you into the set. When he said that, I tried to change subjects because she gets that conversation a lot. And what you're doing is you're instantly telling her that you're just like every other guy. Oh yeah, essentially like so like my current girlfriend's really short. When I met her, I didn't tell her that she was short for the entire first date. I didn't make a joke about it. I didn't say it. I didn't make any jokes. I didn't like she has like a cute little gap in her teeth. I didn't bring that up during the conversation because I knew every other guy did. If a girl's like black, Latino, she's Mexican, if she's white, if she's this, she's that. You should not bring up the race. You should ignore it and act like it's a non-factor. Because the second that you start addressing it, the girl's gonna be like, some girls like believe that they're a fetish and they think that you won't treat them like a human because like you must be fetishizing them for bringing up their race because now you're obsessed with the fact they're of a certain race. So you can like you'll lose a set doing that. That's like a really big. It's a big factor in it. Like the big thing is like you guys need to start thinking about your mentalities towards the game. Like so a lot of guys are like worried that because they're ugly or something like that, or they are a certain like certain temperament or a look that girls are not gonna like them. You guys don't realize you guys are making it into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Does it matter? To a small degree, like so if you have the other factors of the exception to the rule type man, oftentimes they won't matter whatsoever. The majority of the time they will. But without the exception to the rule type mentalities, they will matter. But that means just essentially learning to be an alpha guy who can talk really well. If you guys don't have game, that shit will matter. But once you guys develop the ability to talk to women from a place of like pure non-neediness, not needing anything from them, like when you reach that place, it's a lot easier to connect with women, and the women sense it, and they sense that you're a high value guy because you don't need them. Like that's actually how I get a lot of girls. You remember that one time I brought that girl here, and she was like, she had the worst. She was an attractive girl, but she had the worst voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't just, well, yeah. The things she said were a little out there too.
Oh my god! The second I sat down with her, she was
Just came across very narcissistic.
She was very attractive. Like in her profile,
Yeah, you
pictures,
could have
like,
passed her, like,
if
you could have
she had
traded her
more,
off.
if she had an effeminate energy, like she would have been way more attractive. In all honesty, but it fucked her. And so, But anyways, yeah, the entire time I was on my heels with her, and she was like punching me really hard, like shit testing me, and I'm like the entire time the way I would respond is with the underlying belief that like, dude, I don't even know if I know you yet, if I like you yet, and I'm like, but like in all honesty, by that point I decided I didn't like her, but because I had that energy, she started chasing me. It wasn't like I turned on some kind of thing or turned on like some kind of gaming thing. It's just like I really legitimately didn't like her as a person.
Yeah.
And so at that point, then she offered to like drive me home, but I was like,
No, she offered not just to drive you home. She invited her. She was like,
She
"Hey,
was
want
trying
to
to sign
smoke with
herself
me
in.
inside?" She was trying to get in,
she wanted
get
to
it in. She was trying to get it in.
Yeah, well, she also just tried to tell me that like she's like, oh, you know, I'm tired of guys just sleeping with me and never talking to me again, and I'm a 3 date kind of girl. I'm like, dude, that's cool. I'm not. I don't really necessarily even want anything for the night. Just I'm not even sure if I want to talk to you at this point. And she's like, oh, and she started chasing me. That's why she wanted to come inside. And I was like, Jesus. She's just like, so she's just a heavy narcissist where she needs people like. So I took away the validation not on purpose, but I took her validation away. So she was chasing me for the rest of the night on the validation. So she kept now taking actions that must say that she likes me. So then she backwards rationalizes that I must be an attractive dude. And then she's like, can I please come inside?
I wonder, is there a way we could do? How do you do call-ins? That could be cool. Like allowing you be able to call in and ask questions.
Maybe having a separate number that we only turn on for like.
I mean, I do have a separate number. I have a normal number and my business number.
What if we do like a Zoom call and the first
Like-
person like we post a Zoom call link to
Like the
chat?
logistics of like how do we get it on a speaker so everyone can hear it? But that would be cool.
Hey guys, so let me know. Does anybody have any ideas on how to set up like the caller thing so that we can like have a
Because then we can have
call
back
line?
and forth. You know,
Yeah, so if you
instead of
guys
just
want to
answering
talk on the
comments.
phone, we can do that without us like having to like explicitly post our phone numbers to the channel where everybody can like bug us whenever. But maybe like a channel, like a phone number we can use momentarily, or maybe some kind of way of like calling in, like maybe like through Zoom or something like that. If you guys have a way of doing that, just like post in the comments. I'm currently reading them. Yeah, so Las Vegas Lost Boys count as me. If you guys are seeing the guy, that's me posting and commenting. If you guys, the full video is going to be actually uploaded to that channel, Las Vegas Lost Boys. So definitely go and subscribe to that channel right here. Let me type it in. You guys are going to see it posted in a second. So the account that says right here, that's the channel you guys want to subscribe to. And also too, we're reading the comments and we're actually responding to you guys. So if you guys want to talk and say what's up, like go for it.
If you have
Yeah,
any questions?
yeah. Or you guys want to like praise us or, tell me how much cooler looking I am than Avery, or, bring up his mom.
Or you
and
can tell the
jokes.
truth.
Yeah, I mean like how awesome I am, and how humble I am. If everyone wants to bring up how humble I am and how cool I look in a beanie and how I don't look.
He'll
fat
probably
in the
give you
shirt.
a discount if you do that.
Yeah,
So.
tell me that I don't look fat in this shirt, and we're all gonna be good. Okay? If he says that shit,
So how do you create a deeper connection with people?
I'll fight you. What?
How do you create a deeper connection
I
with
saw
people?
right. I'm sorry, man. I saw right.
You sort of fall in love with yourself there.
Too much game. Alright,
how do you create a deeper connection with people? What factors play in doing that? I think the simplest but a very big one. Two are leaving space for them to invest in you. So when you talk, what a lot of people do is they're just chomping at the bit to get their turn to talk, and they're not even listening, and you can sense that, and they steamroll over you. And if you do that with girls, there's not much room for her to feel connected with you. Right? She might feel attracted if you're being very charismatic, but there's not going to be much of a connection. And so just like showing interest in her, it sounds simple, but it works. Like actually show interest in her. Ask when she talks about a topic, ask further questions, go deeper on that topic, show curiosity about what what her interests are, and come from the mindset of a learner. Come from the mindset of curiosity, not like I already know everything. If she's talking about a topic you have a strong opinion about, like even if it's something, say, political or spiritual or whatever, try to understand her perspective. Come from the frame of I want to understand why she thinks what she does and how that can expand my understanding, and that will make you a lot more open to what she's saying, and that'll make you a lot less confrontational, and then you can build a connection. And you can even disagree in a way that builds a connection if you're doing it in that open-minded way, and that also will show that you're not a pushover as well. And then it's also the topics that you talk about. So the deeper you go, the more you go into interesting topics like spirituality, like culture, right? Like our culture and things about our culture, differences in cultures, dating, just the topic of dating, topics like spirituality, what else? Hallucinogens can be a good one if she's interested in that. What are other good topics? building connection? I mean, philosophy,
herself.
psychology,
Herself.
her personality, her
What she wants to talk about. So
her
like,
desires,
hobbies.
passions,
Yeah.
values.
Just basically just talk about her.
Yeah, or I mean, you can do it to yourself too, like, but it shouldn't be all about yourself. But you can build a connection if you, let's say, you start talking about like some anxiety that you have about life or some like thing you're worried could happen. You got to be careful not to come across as insecure. If it's something you're insecure about, I wouldn't talk about it. But if it's something that you don't take too seriously, it's fine. Talk about like I would talk about. I've talked with girls often about like my history with anxiety and having had panic attacks and how I overcame it. And now, if I hadn't overcome it, if I wasn't talking about it in a positive frame, I wouldn't bring it up. If I'm like talking like Eeyore, like this is dominating my life and it sucks, then I wouldn't talk about it. But I talk about how I overcame it. And since so many women also have anxiety, they can relate to that on a deep level, and that builds a connection. So that's the kind of thing you want to talk about. Like if you talk about your personal struggles and how you've gotten better over the years with them or how you've dealt with them, that's something you can build a really deep connection about.
Zoom can do that, is what he says.
Zoom can do that?
So first person to call in, kind of thing. Like we'll post like I can post like the link right here. First person calling in on my phone. We can like have a short conversation with them. What do you think?
All right, we'll figure it out. I mean, I
I
don't
got
think we
this.
can do it right now in the middle of
No,
it.
I can do it.
There will be more.
No, this is the best one. This is we gotta do it now.
Abundance.
Abundance. We gotta do it now. Maybe I'll, like what I can do is I'll show the link to the camera and see the first person maybe I'll type it in their browser. What do you guys think about that?
And you're welcome, Dame, if that's
It'll
how
be
you
a-
pronounce it.
It'll be a typing war.
Do you get tired of club girls and their narcissistic
Never.
attitude? That's kind of a leading question because it implies that all club girls have a narcissistic attitude. I would put it this way. There is a higher ratio if you go to a club of girls who are like, the girls who are really obsessed with their Instagram and status and stuff like that, but it's not all of them. I've met girls who were like had PhDs, girls who were successful artists, doctors, lawyers, like any type of girl does go to clubs sometimes, pretty much. Like everyone does sometimes. So any type of girl that you might like, they do go to clubs sometimes. And the ones that are, let's say, less deep, I guess, the archetype of the shallow club girl, I'll just like have a short, playful conversation with them. If I don't like them, we don't have chemistry, then I just don't continue the conversation much further, and so that I don't get tired of them. It's not like I spend 2 hours with them if I don't like their energy, if I don't like talking to them, right? If there's no connection there. My goal isn't to get laid just for the sake of like telling my friends I got laid or like being proud of myself. There's supposed to be a real connection, and it's for the experience itself. Like it's because it's the natural thing to happen because we have a good connection. So I look for the girls that I have a good connection with, and it might be easier at a library to find, like there's a higher percentage chance, but how many girls are there at a bookstore or library? Like 3, right? So it's just kind of limited. Whereas at a club, there's like maybe 500 girls, or I mean, that's a bigger club, but there's hundreds of girls, and there's still going to be 20, 30 that you will have a really good connection with. So there's a higher chance. And the girls I don't have a deep connection with, I just have a fun, short conversation with, right? I don't take it too seriously.
Okay, so I'm gonna send. All right, so this is what I was gonna do, so it doesn't delete the link. I added. So just so you guys know, I actually added a space randomly in the link for the call.
For Zoom?
Look, so I put the Zoom right here, the Zoom link, so it doesn't delete it. I added that. Actually, didn't put the whole link up here, did it?
What?
God
Right,
damn it.
bro.
What I could do is I could just show it on an app and have them type it down. That'd be really douchey. Then the first person to call in is the first person that gets to like have the thing. What do you think?
I was reading comments, so I have no idea what I think.
Well, here I can show it to you, and then the first person to call.
I think like you accept the first one, right? And then anyone else can be in the waiting room, right? On Zoom, like so the first person to join, you admit them into the room, and then other people they just stay in the waiting room and
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that should work.
Yeah, okay, that works for me.
We just got to get the volume loud enough.
Here, what I was gonna do is I was going to.
Can you connect it to a speaker or something? I mean,
Yeah,
this does have a loud
I
mic.
can play-
The
I can
mic
play-
on the laptop's pretty
What
loud.
if I played through that speaker?
I think this would be better.
You think so?
Honestly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because the MacBook, it does have a good speaker.
So maybe play it on that one. That's what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of like on this one. So
Oh yeah, don't put it
Alright,
on the
sorry.
phone. It's way too quiet.
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here, one second. In that case, I'm gonna back to meeting. I'm gonna turn this meeting off. We're gonna end this one.
We did talk about approach anxiety earlier in pretty good detail. So once the video is on YouTube, just go look at the earlier section, and then you'll find a pros anxiety. I don't want to say the same thing twice.
Here, 1 sec. Let me get this started. So we're going to be starting some calls here in a second. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show. I guess should I post the link to the comments? Can I do that, or should I like instead?
Yeah, post the link to the comments should be good.
Maybe cut it in half so then the link doesn't. Or maybe I can post it up, take out the .com at the end, and I tell them like just put.
Why can't you put the .com?
Because if I post a link, then it's gonna get flagged and it's gonna get taken down.
Can you?
Here, 1 sec. I'll try it. I like making everything difficult. It's my go-to move.
I see what you're saying. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, now I'm trying to figure out this way to.
Can you be
Wait.
signed into your YouTube account from both the phone and the computer at the same
That's
time?
what I was kind of curious about. So here, let me get this started.
So if it comes down, that's why.
All right, starting a random call. Oh no, wait. Let me just make sure it's not. Let me make sure it's not now taken away from both. I think it's actually okay. Good. Looks like wait. Okay.
What?
It might be now playing through the laptop. Watch. Oh no, wait. That's good. Look. Never mind. Let's see how that is. Yeah, it's playing through the speaker. Okay, sweet. Actually, I'm gonna stop the video. I'm just gonna listen to the sound.
Did your mom dress you, Denton?
Yes. That's why you passed the shit test. If anybody's curious.
Yes, girls are turned off.
Actually,
by
I like the idea
everybody's
that
curious.
hey guys, throw disses at me. I'm gonna pass them as shit tests.
Okay, this guy said I like this one. I've been going out with some girls and most of them stop responding or disappear after the meeting, even though everything is going well. Why do you think this happens? There's two common reasons. I would say one is because yes, they feel comfortable around you. They feel like you're charming, but there's just no sexual energy, right? You're not showing intent. You're not looking at her like there's no desire. She doesn't feel that desire. She doesn't feel like if you're in a bedroom, anything would happen. She feels like you would just like sit there and talk for 4 hours and then say, I need to go to sleep, so you have to get out. She feels like it wouldn't go anywhere. And then, so that's one reason. So you got to, and we talked about that earlier, how to build attraction. So you use those techniques. Or the other way, the other reason that could happen is that you are sexual. She feels that desire, but you don't build enough comfort. There's not enough of a connection. She doesn't feel like you really care about her as a person, that you just want to get laid. And she could be any other girl. It doesn't matter. You would be just as happy to sleep with her. She doesn't feel like it's personal for her, that you're there for her. You're just there to get laid in general, right? So you want to give the impression, and it should be real, that you're actually interested in her. And that goes back to the stuff we just talked about what was it, comfort, about like building a connection with someone.
All right, guys, I'm going to post a link right now. So first person to call in is going to be the person who gets to talk to us. So may the force be with you. 9/11 was an inside job. Yes, I am better at game than Avery.
Facts.
He likes to tell himself.
Facts, motherfucker. When did the game become kind of gangster? Who started adding gangster vibes to or rapper vibes to pickup?
Other than me?
I mean, other than my gangster ass.
It was probably R.C. Tyler.
Yang, get the fuck out of here. Not you first. You don't count.
Take me.
Fucking Yang. He would do that. Put me in the chat. Yang, we hang out with you all the time. Pick you. You're already here.
Was the first
You already
episode of the
interject.
series deleted? I don't think so. So on a verbal level, so one, I can't pronounce your name, sorry. Well, Go Hill is the second half. So he said, how do you make a real connection and simultaneously seduce the girl in a sexual manner? And I would say, so non-verbally, sexual heat. Non-verbally, the way you look at her, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, a lot of sexual energy. You don't have to do that verbally, unless you want to. Verbally, that's where you build a connection, build comfort. Non-verbally, you create the sexual energy.
All right. Hey, man. I was hoping you were going to interrupt Avery over here. How's it going?
Is the speaker, it might be on the mic.
1 sec, bro.
No, that's good.
Okay, so... let's see.
Huh, that guy looks familiar.
Yeah, we're not adding him, though. Fuck that guy. Not you, Mr. E.
Someone else.
We like you.
Yeah, you're cool.
You're cool. The guy we're talking about that we hate. So if you are in the room waiting, you know who you are.
All right, so I don't hear Zvektanov.
Actually,
which is
I'm gonna
my
try
best
messaging him.
attempt.
Let's see if it's not good on his side. Hey, Svektanov. Here. If you can't hear us, or if the volume's off, like just message us here.
Denton struggling with technology. Deja vu.
Shut up.
That's never happened before. What are you talking about?
It never happens. I'm perfect. Just like my mother said. That was really aggressive for me, though. I think I'm a little defensive.
The last one's hidden because there were some words that we wanted to cut out before posting on YouTube because it could be bad for the algorithm. So that's all. There were just a couple things we want to cut out. So we're gonna re-upload that one.
I only. All right, here we might try a different person, just so like not to like cut you out, setting off. It seems like you're having a hard time connecting to the audio. So just like to keep like things with continuity, we'll come right back around to you. All right. Sorry about that, man. Actually, here, do you want to leave a? Actually, here, I'll give you like a question. Leave a question down below. It's actually here. All right, so the guys that are like currently waiting in the chat room, give us a second. We're gonna go down the line, and we'll like start answering questions there.
So I think this is kind of funny. The first recommended video by YouTube on this stream is Advice for Very Attractive Men by Jordan Peterson. So apparently, if you're watching this stream, YouTube thinks that you're a very attractive man and that's what you need advice for. So just so you know, apparently if you're watching this, you're very attractive.
Well, actually, here, what if they do this? So Septinov, he can't respond yet. He's working his audio. What if I just add this guy right here, so then we can talk to him?
Yeah.
All right, so here.
And we can make sure it's working on our end. It might cause them some weird reverb.
Do you think so?
That's my link. Yeah, because it's gonna. They're gonna hear it. They should probably turn the YouTube tab off while they're on here.
If you guys are when you guys get added, turn the YouTube tab off so we don't hear like.
Or just put it on mute. You'll be fine. Just so you don't get some.
Let's see how this goes.
All right, you just ran with it, huh?
Yeah.
I was thinking like someday in the
I'm
future
like
we
a
could do
fly
that.
by the seat of his pants kind of guy. Not to impress everybody.
What is seat of his pants?
It means that I'm very good at going a cappella because I don't have to.
But literally, what is the seat of your pants? Like I've never understood
Avery, you just had to ruin it for me. Like
It's like-
logical.
Take your cake, or have your cake and eat it too. Who's not gonna eat their cake?
Why would you have cake and not
you
eat
just,
it?
I'm gonna
What are
buy
you,
a cake and
sociopath?
watch it.
Oh my god.
Like, some of these phrases, I'm very curious how they came about.
It is a really honestly a terrible phrase. We actually should revamp it and rework the phrase and then just start using it in our game and hope it gets out there enough to where people stop saying that phrase.
There's another one. I'm gonna F the shit out of her.
Which sounds like
what?
very
Why would you
perverted.
want to do that?
I don't know. Actually.
That doesn't sound like a good time at all.
Okay, Mr. E's connecting the audio. I'm curious if this is my fault. If it is, I
It says the audio is
apologize.
coming from here. It
Well,
says
I'm wondering if they can. Oh, maybe if it's from the
select a
Yeti.
speaker. Yeah, this is why.
Ah, shit.
You having trouble with technology.
No, it's you. It's not me. It's you.
That was me who did
No,
the
no,
settings
no, that's definitely
on
me.
your computer.
All right. So the guys that are in the group chat, can you guys hear me? Look what he did. Nothing. Just like always.
It says select a microphone Yeti. So that
MacBook Pro. No, we select a. Oh, so then it works with the microphone. But what
should work.
about select a speaker? Same as system.
Oh wait, yeah. I tried to hit. All right, try it now.
Okay, now all right. So anyways, in the group, try talking.
this is why you do this between videos.
What are we talking about? This adds to the continuity and flow of the channel.
The choppiness
People
makes it
respect
real.
the authenticity.
We hear you from YouTube. I don't hear. Are you guys talking? Because it says.
Is there any way that somebody else can touch the laptop so that can get blamed on them? Don't call me. Love you. Fuck you, gang.
There we go.
Hey, there we go.
Okay.
I did it.
I can hear you now.
All right, and so you're gonna wanna maybe put it like on, so it has a. We want the audio to get to the phone.
Okay. All right. So, Mystery, how's it going, man?
All right. I feel like I was here for the first stream you guys did. I got like 3 hours of sleep that day, but it was well worth it.
All right. Hell yeah. Yeah, we did.
I mean, it was
pretty
just
late.
a quickie, you know, it's just like a quick.
Yeah,
little
3 hour
3
video.
hours.
Yeah, that's how we
Just knocked it out.
so fast. It's almost like it was
It'll
effortless.
be another sleepless night tonight, but I feel like I'm the raid boss because
Dude.
I mean, you guys have probably heard my backstory as I've been asking questions, but basically you're dealing with 37-year-old virgin here.
Okay. Close to the movie title, huh?
I'm 3 years away from the movie.
Yeah. Hey, that's like a
when I
badge
saw
of
that-
honor at that point.
Oh, Jesus, no! I saw that movie and I told myself, if I get to 40-year-old virgin, I'm killing this movie. No, but it was so just I don't know. I guess the backstory is kind of similar to him. It started with like religion.
Okay.
Grew up in a very conservative family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really took a toll. And then when I left religion, I still had like the habits and the fear of
The shame that it gives you.
yeah, like going out and connecting with women. It just, I had never learned it when I was younger, so I never learned it when I got older, and I guess the inertia kind of set in, and it just became easier to continue living my life.
Yeah, first thing I want to say, you don't sound like a virgin. You don't have the like your voice. You don't have the energy of like a meek, like you know. You don't have that. You sound like a guy who.
I was gonna
gets
say the
laid.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you got an attractive voice. I think like a voice that women would find attractive. And you don't sound like shy and repressed or anything like that. So it's kind of surprising to me that you would be a virgin.
Are you just more
Well, that's
comfortable with
the
guys
thing.
over women?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. I used to be the opposite because of game.
Me too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's a phase where I couldn't get along with guys very well.
Yeah. Ditto. Anyways, what are you
No,
gonna say?
that's interesting. Yeah, but it's but yeah, I think I've done a lot of work
Let
to.
me make sure people can hear it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll check.
I've done a
so-
lot of work to mask that. You know, I think that like even when I go out, I get that comment a lot. Not a lot of people know my story. You know, but then when they hear it, they're also surprised. Like, what? No, but you know, it's true, and you know, it's something that I've always carried with me.
Thank you, Donnie.
Hmm.
You know.
Okay.
Then
Well, do you think you have like a
Sure.
narrative around it now
Yeah,
too?
go
Do
ahead.
you think you have a narrative around being a virgin too, to an extent?
An identity?
Like, do you actually like? Is there like some kind of fear of like breaking through that?
That is a good question. I don't think I've given that much thought. In fact, I think most of what holds me back. I mean, like I said, I left the religion, so I wouldn't have like a moral thing against having sex. I think it's more like
You're not like a
now
Mormon or
it's
something
more
now.
fear of, now it's more fear of success of getting the pull. In that, oh shit, I actually got her to like me. Fuck. Now she's gonna find out I live with my folks. I live with my folks, by the way. She's gonna find out I don't have a car. She's gonna find out I look disgusting without clothes on. Like it's all these things that just they all seem to just conspire to take their toll. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't know if it's me finding excuses or if it's just me, you know, having made the assessment years ago and then just kind of settled into who I was. You know what I mean?
I mean, probably both, I would guess.
Well, for me, I had like a narrative with in terms of being like a kind of like a wounded rock star kind of mentality, and then I started wanting to procreate it because I had like this kind of inner narrative that said that this is who I am. So I started like doing things that made that actually happen. That's actually why I was asking about. You see, you don't sometimes like narratives. Sometimes are very subconscious. I would actually start maybe possibly looking into yourself, make sure that you don't have one, because I know that they get buried really easily.
Yeah.
maybe be like conscious of the fact that maybe you think of yourself in a certain way that it gets caused that, but there also could be a bottleneck. Maybe you have a bottleneck. So I have some clients they'll talk through their nose, and because they talk through their nose, it's like it's a subconscious kind of way of making yourself lower status. And I've seen a lot of people do that where they'll act that way. Sometimes there's bottlenecks in the way you act or move or do things, or maybe you sabotage. Like I knew another guy that when he approached really hot women, girls that he felt like were out of his league, he would automatically start dissing on them so that he automatically rejected them before they could reject
I used to do
him.
that.
Yeah,
I did that myself when I was
it's common.
younger.
But it's like you got to kind of like start looking at like there's probably something you're doing, or maybe if not like a couple things you're doing that are actually like because you are a cool talking guy. That probably means there's a bottleneck somewhere. Maybe like when you talk to women, maybe you build rapport with your tone. Like, hey, how's it going? Instead of just like talking the way you're talking to us.
Well, I have a couple ideas.
Yeah.
So, I think one thing is it's probably the pressure of like, oh, well, she's gonna know I'm a virgin, and that's gonna be a big deal because I'm so old. She's gonna think I'm a loser or something like that, right? She's just gonna be like, she's not gonna have any interest in it. So frame it differently, right? Like if you could mention it, you could not mention it. Either would be fine. But if it comes up and you say you're a virgin, or think of the frame of you being a virgin, it's because religion. So you're doing it, it's because of religiousness. It's not because you couldn't get any girl. It's also because you're extremely picky. And you're looking for a girl who it felt right with, and you never had that happen. Because you're extremely picky. And if that's the frame, then it's more like endearing. It's more like it's charming, the fact that you chose her. I told a girl I was a virgin. That was a joke I would say sometimes. One girl actually believed it.
I just want to start saying that. That's actually a really good line.
Yeah, I mean, like they either call you out like, no, you're not, or it's like, oh,
if you don't have the
either
energy,
way, it's good.
It works
Yeah.
really well. Which you don't have the energy, but you want to. If I were you, I'd say it in a playful tone. Like you want to say that. This is what I did when I was a virgin. I just pretended like I wasn't, and then like through that narrative, like I told myself too I wasn't, and I made up stories in my head to help me out with like moving through the ego of having it. And so then I'm like, oh, I'm not a virgin. I'm good with girls. And then eventually, then the very first girl I actually slept with, still to this day, doesn't know she's the first girl I ever slept with, and it's because she believed that I was a player, and it actually worked out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I always figured that's what was going to happen. It was just going to be, oh yeah, she'd never find out. There's just no way in hell I was ever going to let her know.
So that girl who I told I was a virgin, she ended up finding that really charming, and I ended up going home with her under that was the belief until it was already like I was, in a room with her. So I actually pulled her by saying that. So you can totally pull that off. Like the fact that you're a virgin doesn't have to be some obstacle that can't be overcome. It depends on the way you frame it in your mind and your mindset about it. It can either be something that's like shameful and sad, or it means that you're picky and you have high standards, and that like she has the opportunity to be the one that like was special enough for you to sleep with her. That would be the mindset I would have about it. The second thing I'd want to ask is, how much of a genuine effort have you put into making moves, right, on like with women, either in terms of cold approach, in terms of like asking girls out that you work with or that you see in your day-to-day life, or online dating?
Right. Yeah, I think I guess because of well,
even before COVID.
Even before COVID, yeah, I'm a cute girl. I guess because of obviously because of my mental blocks, I never or rarely maybe attempt. Although I do remember, and I always hold on to this. I do remember one time I used to help out. My mom put on fashion shows for clothing.
Yeah.
She used to run, and she would hire these models. And then we all had a dinner one night, and sitting across from me was one of the models, and I don't even know how it happened, but I was firing on all cylinders that one night.
Yeah.
And I was funny, I was witty, she was laughing, and the thing is, I don't know how I did it. I did it one time, and then I could never find that same rhythm again. And I don't know what I did. I asked about this the other time, and I think you guys briefly got into the idea of flow.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like. It felt like I got into that flow state, but then I just never figured out, well, how do I get myself in there willingly?
Right.
I mean, at a moment's notice.
So that's where cold approach comes in, basically. So flow is what happens when, so it can happen sometimes just out of luck, but what triggers it is there is some goal you have, which might be like, picking up this girl. It could be anything, any goal you have, like surfing a wave, whatever. And there's the challenge level of the level of that challenge is like 10% outside your comfort zone. So it's just a little bit more challenging than what you normally would do. And that's like you're playing a song that's a little bit harder than what you usually play, or you're playing in front of an audience and that is a little bit nerve wracking for you. So it's whatever's 10% outside of your comfort zone is what triggers it. So something that's a little bit challenging for you, but not so challenging that it's overwhelming. And so whatever reason, maybe you're just were in a good mood that night, or the girl was giving you so many green lights that you just felt a little more confident, or maybe you were drinking, or like who knows what different scenarios made it so you were just in a better mood and you felt like you had a chance with her, but it was still going to be nerve-wracking. It's like a hot model girl. And you're not experienced with women, but it's just that right level that you hit the flow state. And you can't rely on that though, because that's just randomly might happen once every number of years. But what you can do is if you go approach like 10 girls in one night, just talking to girls is always going to cause a certain level of adrenaline. Like it's out of anyone's comfort zone because it's taking a social risk. Even if you're really experienced like me, it still moves you towards flow. And so doing that, it triggers that state automatically if you do it. It's like actually, even in the science, if you look at the literature, it's the number one best way to create flow is like public speaking or social situations. So that's one of the reasons cold approach is so powerful, because if you approach a few girls when you go out and you do that a number of times, you'll get used to being in a flow state around women. And that state, the more you get into it, the easier it is for you to get into it whenever you want to. The more it becomes just your default state. Like if you've ever done, I don't know what skills you have or what, like if you've ever played a sport for a long time or an instrument for a long time, but if you've been playing, say, guitar for 5 years, after you've been playing it for 5 years, you get into flow immediately when you're playing. Like it's very easy to just get in the flow of things, but at first it's much harder. And so the same thing is true with pickup. If you approach a ton of women, then that actually just becomes your default. You just easily get into the flow state. Because there's always a certain level of risk and challenge, because every girl is different, every personality is different. You have to take risks, right? Like anytime you make a move, like asking a girl out, she could say no. So it's always challenging, and that's part of the reason that cold approach is so useful, because even if you're used to never being in that state around women, that will teach you to start getting into that state around women. And I mean, look, you could do the same thing with online dating if you're getting dates. That could work too. And I would recommend for someone who's a virgin, do both. Like put in effort to both. I wouldn't personally, if I'm, I wouldn't make it a big deal. Like think it's something that's special anymore. I would just like, if a girl's into me and she's not unattractive, I would probably go for it, or at least fool around with her. If you have some chemistry.
I did have like a girl who was into me, and we even dated like once. And then, but then I also thought like, I kind of liked her. She was kind of cute, but I didn't feel like this, like, oh, this hot burning, like, oh, I'm really into this girl, like she's so damn hot. She's cute. She's nice. But,
Yeah.
Like, would it be settling if I did that, or am I
settling if you marry her? It's settling if you marry her.
Okay, that's true.
Like why? I mean, it's just an experience. It's not a commitment, right? You're not settling for. It's just an experience. I mean, it was either her or your right hand, right? Those are realistically those are the two options. So is it worse to like be with another human or to be with your hand? Like which is actually a more empty experience? Like if you had any chemistry with the girl at all, then I would say being with her is a more fulfilling, real experience, and you're both getting something out of it, and it's just more powerful. So it's not. So I wouldn't like. You don't need to like. If you're telling yourself I need a perfect 10, you're just putting more pressure on yourself. It should be any girl I meet that if there's just even a little bit of a spark, like hook up. Why not? Like go for it. And then it's no longer a big deal for it. A big deal for you. And then when you meet a girl you really like, you're not gonna get in your own way. So like having dating experience is just going to make you more likely to meet the kind of girl that you end up, say you want to get married, you're going to be able to do that much more effectively than if you just wait for the perfect girl and save yourself forever.
We should probably move on to the next guy though, because
Yeah.
I want to get around to everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, hope that was helpful. It was good talking to you, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll be listening. Have a good one.
See ya. All right, and report. No, I don't want to report. All right, who should be next? The Ajor. You could probably put it on the
Oh.
table.
Oh yeah. Good point. I'm just responding to what people are saying in the comments.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? You got this. It's quite the bar you're in.
Yeah, that's my usual meeting background.
I'm almost
Yeah.
tempted to like show you onto the channel, but I don't think if you'd even like that, so we're not going to do that.
That's one of the coolest Zoom features. The backgrounds you can do.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, it hides your stuff.
Denton, did you have a quickie? Always. Because he doesn't last very long. That's the
Shut
implication.
I hate you so much. I think that anybody in the house would disagree. So tell me this, man. Do you have any questions?
Yes.
I
So
hope so.
first of all, I have been following you guys for like since your YouTube channel was like 10 subscribers, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, both of you guys, AG and Denton, both of you. I have followed you since you were like 10 subscribers or something like that.
That's crazy.
Damn.
So my question for you guys is, I'm currently gaming a lot, and I have been doing online as well as cold approach a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to move from beginner to intermediate to advanced. So I don't know what the milestones are and how should I assess myself. I'm getting dates, I'm getting late, whatever.
Well, then you're not a beginner,
Well, here.
I would say.
Yeah, let me actually, I got some questions for you. So these are the questions I'll usually ask on a consultation to assess where somebody's at. So,
I'll be right back.
all right, no worries. So tell me this, when you approach, what's a set generally like for you? Like, what's your experience? Do you get a phone number? Do you get like maybe, do the girls get attracted to you if you get a phone number? Do they flake a lot? Do you get, let's say, like, I don't know, can you show a girl that you're going direct? Like, can you approach and go direct, or no, can you not go direct? Can you, like, what's your overall, like, feeling on this?
Yes, so when I'm out of momentum, I have to go direct because I cannot think of indirect direct stuff that you talk about.
Yeah,
or
that's the way I do it.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
But once I'm in momentum, I'll always go situational openers, and that works. I get a lot of phone numbers. I get some dates. Like I would say the ratio is around. So if I get 10 phone numbers, I'll get 2 or 3 dates. That's all. And out of those 2 or 3, probably I'll only pull 2 of them. That's what my ratio is currently. So
Okay.
Last month I have got 5 online dates, and I have like closed all of them.
Ooh, that's pretty good, man. But that also might mean too that your funnel is not effective enough.
Yes.
So I've had clients in the past where what they would do is that they would be so over the top sexual or so forward, or like maybe maybe your profile is set up in a way that if a girl does hang out with you, she's agreeing to sex. That
Polarizing.
Polarizing, exactly. So it might not, or on the opposite side of things, maybe you just have such good game that that's the case. What I would say though is, tell me
I
this.
don't feel I have good game or not, because I have seen friends who are like much advanced than I am. I hang out with those guys, and I always feel like I have less confidence when I'm around them. Because I always see them as ideals and I want to reach to their level.
It's good to have friends like that because that's what pushes you. Like that inspires you.
Well, tell me this: 2 different questions. Do you have a man to woman vibe in your conversations? And 2, are you the prize or are you the seller when you're talking to a girl?
It really depends on my mindset. Sometimes I'm on the other side, like I'm the prize, and sometimes I'm on like, okay, because there are girls that I have dated which are like 5.
Put the laptop
and
on the
there are girls I have dated which are like 7 and
I'll
8.
try to
So
focus.
whenever there are like 7 and 8s, I
If you
feel
throw
like
something
they are
out,
the
maybe.
prize, and when the girl is like 5 or 6, I feel like I'm the prize.
Oh, so you have a certain barrier, like to the type of women. So like if a girl's a certain type, like so if a girl's too hot, you start chasing. Then if the girl's like in a certain range you feel comfortable with, then you start actually being man to woman. And you start being sexual. Yeah, well, that's an easy fix. So I'm gonna guess if you're saying that, so you get flaked. Do you get flaked like where girls don't text you, or are the girls texting you and like the girls just like, oh, sorry, I can't meet up and blah blah blah, but it's like an actual reason, like kind of like that, or do the girls just go cold on you over text? Like, do you text a girl and she doesn't text you back often, or is it like, do you get like or are the girls talking with you and having conversations?
So we do have conversation, and there has been like 3 instances where I have had closed the girl, but they won't text afterwards. Like they wouldn't meet afterwards. They would always have reasons not to meet after like pulling and closing.
Okay, here, one last question. Tell me this. When you're talking to a girl out and about, do you feel like you have to rush the interaction and go quickly, or else the girl's not going to get attracted to you? Or do you feel like time is on your side?
No, I rush it a lot.
Oh, you rush it. Okay, that's honestly probably the biggest indicator. The other ones are kind of like up in the air. I was expecting you to say no to those other ones, but that's going to be the biggest indicator. So when you get to an advanced level, what happens is time equals attraction. So that must mean that you must be a little bit incongruent in front of the girls. Or two, it means that you are still not you're still not playerish or like assuming the nature enough, like assuming the attraction enough to where the girls can feel attraction towards you. So what's going on is like we need to turn up that energy a little bit more, the masculine energy, and also two, I would start risking offending. So, and lastly, you need to start like believing in your own value. So I imagine like, so the good thing about my channel is that it's a lot of high quality people. Like a lot of people that get onto this are very well off financially. They work really hard. They're hustlers. So I imagine you have the same thing going for you, dude. You need to use that stuff to your advantage. Like you need to be like, look, these are the reasons why I'm a 12 out of 10. Why this girl's below me in value? Because girls don't necessarily want a guy that's below them in value. Girls don't want guys below them in value. They want like a guy at their level, if not above them in value. And that comes from like self belief. You need to start believing in yourself. You need to start thinking that I'm like hey, later, man. You need to start believing that your value to the woman is higher than the woman's value to you, and then from there start risking offending. To be charismatic, you have to risk being offensive. So like don't play within the lines. Start like having fun. Like start risking offending girls. Start like sometimes like ask us. All right, are you very good at playing a character, or are you more like just more a friendly guy?
I'm just friendly guy. I cannot act.
All right, then we need to break the friendly energy.
Straightforward.
Does that make sense? Kind of, or all right. So check it out. So sometimes guys. All right. So do you feel like it's easy for you to draw boundaries with people, or a little harder?
Yes.
It's harder.
No, it's easy. I mean,
It's
I can
easy.
say straightforward to their face that okay, I like this, I don't like this.
That's good.
That was the opposite of the answer.
That's
I thought
probably
you were
why he's
giving.
pulling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, that's the energy. So you're a nice guy, but you also have standards of how people treat you. All right. That's good. Here, what I would actually do too. Let's see. How can we merge this? So you're still an intermediate, but that's like you're on the cusp. If we're gonna start doing things, I would actually start maybe adding like 1%ers to your game. So I would start adding like more like, so when you talk to a girl, do you punch through? Like do you take on, like, do you risk offending the girl? And two, do you also talk in a way that's maybe more sexual and sensual in the conversation, or are you talk in a way that's more platonic?
I start with very platonic stuff.
Yeah.
But, as time goes, so on
start
my
turning it
days, as the time goes and stuff, I try sending some sexual innuendos and puns and stuff.
So this works for you. That's actually an interesting strategy. For me, I always try to put it in the energy and the vibe if I don't put it in the words. So what I usually do is I do it with the way I talk and look. So here, I'll turn on my camera so you can see this.
Well, if he's on a date with a girl, you have more time.
Oh, here, I'll
Yes.
show them the difference. So like right now I'm talking to you in a friendly, cool way, like just friend to friend. But if I want to start turning it up a little bit, I'll start talking like this, and I start moving in a different way that makes everything I say a little bit more engaging, and also a little bit more punching through. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start using my pauses. I'm going to start using my hand gestures. I'm going to start punctuating and breaking rapport harder. I'm also going to start giving more of an uncomfortable sexual vibe behind the eye contact. Yeah.
You feeling it?
That energy, like you can actually talk in a platonic way through that energy. And also too, it's like putting that energy, like I'm like allowed to punch through. Like that, it's like that energy, like I'm allowed to be a sexual being. Like you got to get used to being like comfortable being a sexual being. I know a lot of guys nowadays are punished for being sexual, but that's for beta, like not beta. I hate that word because it misimplies it. It's for guys that are not the exception to the rule. You got to be so unapologetically yourself but from a place of also understanding social dynamics. I mean, don't
It's for good. I mean, a lot of guys do it in a very creepy way. So they're
Yeah.
catcalling. That's being sexual, but it's creepy, and
Creepy.
it never works.
yeah.
Or they on
It's
Tinder, they're
disingenuous.
like, "Let's have sex right away," and they're just creepy. But
It's
that's
like-
not being sexual. That's just being creepy.
Well,
There's a lot of room beneath that where you can
Mhm.
be sexual without being over the top.
Yeah, well, you have to line the words and the actions and your thoughts. So when your thoughts are aligned with that kind of character, where it's just like, I'm just a sexual being, this is just who I am, it won't be creepy anymore. You will still have some people that will, like, on occasion try to shame you. Like, so on occasion, I'd mess around with, like, maybe like an 18, 19, 20-year-old. I'm 28, which is not that even that big a difference when you consider that they're also messing around with maybe 30 and 40-year-old guys. But why is that bad for a guy? I mean, like, there's no downside. Like what's the downside? Like, for the girl or you, if you're bringing value to the table. Like, I mean, like, to be honest, if you both are winning by doing it, why does anybody else have a say in it?
What's the funniest part to me is if you look in like articles in the media,
Mhm.
whenever an older woman is with a younger man,
They're all
like
fine.
Heath Ledger, or not Heath Ledger, Hugh Jackman, or that Prime Minister of France, Macron,
Mhm.
like they're like, "You go, girl. That's that's amazing. That's awesome." But if the reverse happens, it's just
Yeah,
it's just
shame.
a feminist social standard, basically.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Well, they're like their ideas and their beliefs.
But
You said not me.
My
A.G. Hayden.
my question here is like, how do you assess yourself? Like, how do you give yourself feedback on how do I know that I'm progressing, or how do I know that I'm doing
Oh.
the right thing?
So every 6 months, your worst set should become your best set, or like, sorry, your best set should become your worst set in a way. That's a really good way, but you want to be doing a few things. Field reports. You want to be thinking, how could a better version of myself have done this? If a girl rejects you, like, what could I have done to get that girl into me? I actually do it in the moment now. So if I get rejected, I'll really quickly be like, okay, why did I get rejected? And it takes me maybe like 5 or 10 seconds to figure it out if it's a tougher one for me. But I figured out how to do that by sitting down and thinking about it for a long time. Eventually now, if I'm doing well in a set, or doing good, or doing bad, or I'm messing up, I know where I'm constantly moving that meter, because I've been doing this for so long. And the only way you get it is by writing field reports and by action and trying and trial and error. It's honestly, the funny thing about it is that ultimately, like, it's really hard to tell if you're improving. I remember that I didn't think I was improving for a long time. Then I was like dating some girl in Sacramento. I moved and started working with RSD, and she came out and visited me 3 years later, and I thought she was very attractive when I was in Sacramento. She came out here and she was like, I thought she was very And then like another year later, I thought she was unattractive and almost homely looking. And now I think she's full on like homely looking. Like, you know, like it's really funny. You slowly move up to the point where you don't even notice. You can, like, along with the field reports, just consistency and also constantly keeping periphery, the 2.0 version, like the next guy that's going to get what you want. So what are the things that you need to take in place? One is you need to be completely comfortable with being a sexual being. That's going to be the next version of yourself. You need to also be comfortable with being a man, the masculine in the conversation. So when you talk to a girl, like, do you remember the energy I kind of put through at the camera? Like that kind of energy, like when you're talking to a girl. You also should be, let's see, how more dominant. So even this conversation, you should assume this is almost like you're at our level, or if not a little bit above. Because if you could, you actually be joking with us and teasing us, and we'd always probably be like, it'd probably be like a really, like, you probably just throwing in some slingers and whatnot. We'd probably be laughing with you and whatnot. Like, so for you, I would be trying to take on that 12 out of 10 mentality. Just start believing in your own confidence. So every morning, what I do is I practice gratitude. It's actually why gratitude is so valuable, because gratitude tricks your unconscious mind into saying, I'm a high status individual in my tribe. Because today's society, you're in an 8 billion man society, and you're looking and comparing yourself to like some other guy that has a lot more money than you, or has hotter girls, or maybe has a more awesome beard than you, and then instantaneously you're like, oh no, I'm low in the totem pole. When all actuality, that's not the truth. Your brain's tricking you because it's used to a smaller tribe biologically. So you gotta trick that part of your brain by working on the gratitude side of it. Like,
Okay.
I do it every morning.
So I have a different way to. I mean, I agree with that stuff, but I have a different way to look at intermediate. How do you know you're going from intermediate to advanced? 2 things to keep track of. One is, how often are you missing opportunities? So if you have a situation where you think a girl might like you, do you actually like escalate? Do you go for the close? Do you try to pull her, or do you miss the opportunities? Because intermediate guys, they'll miss a lot of opportunities very often. Like, there's a girl, they think she's too hot, and they don't even try, right? Or they're on a date and they don't invite her back to their place. So that's one of the 2 sides. And ask yourself, if I'm doing that less and less, right? I'm getting more of my opportunities. If you're getting most of them, that's part of being advanced. The other part is how much am I pursuing girls versus how much are they pursuing me? So when I'm interacting with the girl, does it feel like I'm convincing her that I'm trying to convince her to like me, or does it feel like she's trying to convince me to like her? So am I letting her invest? Am I leaving space? Am I willing to tease her? Am I
Push her
willing to
away.
walk away, giving her the vibe that I'm willing to walk away? And so you end up feeling like sometimes girls will be the one to invite me back home, right? Or they'll like make a move on me. And if that starts happening, like girls start like really pursuing you and chasing you, that means you're going towards advance. I'd say those are the two biggest, that's the direction you want to head in, and that's how you know you're at advanced level.
Yeah. All right. And now here, check this out too. So I sometimes will do this with like my guys in the next gen seduction group. What I'll do is like so getting to know you questions. Like where are you from? How old are you? Where are you from? Those kind of questions.
I usually don't ask any of those questions.
What kind of questions do you usually ask? Do you usually spin it around?
There is very less interaction where we are interrogating each other. It's more like I'm trying to learn how to vibe with the girl a lot more.
Nice.
So I don't ask any questions.
You don't
make
ask any
You make
questions.
statements.
Yeah, I usually don't ask any questions. I'll just say, hey, I'm into this and into this. Do you find this interesting? What
So you
kind
talk
of
about
things
yourself.
are- Something like
Do you do it in a way where you're trying to get the girl to like you on some level, or not really?
that. On some level, yes. If it is like first date, yes, obviously.
All right, here I'm gonna teach you a really cool trick. So here's the trick. I actually do getting to know you questions, but there's two ways that you can actually break out of it, and like also, but you want to do it from a screenplay. So there's a few energies you want to look at it from. So the first one is challenging. The next one is more boss like energy, and the other one's playful, adding to the energy, and then like screening them out. Like, do I like you? I know you already like me, but do I like you? You can also like so it comes from those different places. Those are the best ways. So I can literally ask you like, so wait, how old are you? Like, do you hear how that sounds? Like, wait, how old are you? Like, do you hear now? The girl's gonna be thinking, oh shit, am I too young for him? Or am I too old? Or am I too this? Or am I too that? You can be like, wait, what's like basically by asking the question that way, now the girl's gonna start chasing. And then instead of like letting her ask you how old you are after the question, immediately change topics. So you can you start being like, wait, who are you here with? She's like, oh, I didn't come with any friends. I'm like, what? Something wrong with you? You a social pariah? Like, did you steal her food or something? Like, should I be worried? Or are you straight out of prison? Like I just start messing with her like that. And I start pushing on her, start risking offending, which is like the next way of doing it. When you ask a getting to know you question, you want to, instead of like going to the next getting to know you question, build off of it, tease her and joke with her. And then like from there, like basically you can like build up more of a vibe. You can like risk offending her. So say something that like, so here, let me say like, let's see, what's a good question I usually ask? So where are you from, man? Oh wait, no, here, answer this question. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from San Jose.
San Jose? Oh, dude, dope. If I ever want to get shot, I'd definitely go and hang out over there. Sounds like a great place to die of AIDS. Like, you see what I'm doing? I'm kind of like now risking offending the girl by saying that.
I see. Yeah, I see.
Mm-hmm. Like, so now the girl's gonna be like, oh, like I've actually like it's like me pushing like a little bit. You want to know how to like basically it's like playing like what am I thinking of? Like when you're on stage and you're usually like going a cappella, like you're doing like a back and forth.
I'm not usually on stage.
It's kind of a duet thing where you play something and there is a kind of response from the other instruments, something like that.
He might be onto what I'm talking about. Honestly, it's not important. The big thing is like you're more just free flowing with the girl, and you learn how to do this over time. But the big thing is like risking offending the girl. So when it comes down to it, like this will take you a while too because you got to build the momentum. Like how long have you been going out consistently?
Since past 6-8 months. So even in COVID, I usually go out every bi-weekly, but I have been consistently doing online Tinder and Bumble and stuff.
Are your results stagnant and staying consistent? Like, are you like, do you find that you're not improving whatsoever, or
they improved in first 3 months and then now they are plateaued. So first 3 months I was not getting any kind of matches. Then I started getting like good amount of matches, and then Now the matches that I have, even if I pull, they'll start flaking. But then I'll get more matches and then I'll forget about the flakes and I'll move on to another one.
You're mainly talking about online game, more or less.
Yeah.
I was talking more about cold approach. Like, so online game is really, if you go on a cold approach, it makes online game tenfold better. So if I ever swipe on a girl and she likes me, I have a really good chance of actually meeting up with her if I really want to. Or if I have the time to. And it comes from the fact that I game so much and I go talk to people in cold approach situations, which I know is kind of scary and whatnot, but it does really help out. As for like the online stuff, I would actually be trying to improve your profile in any way I could. Like for me, I started editing my photos a little bit, giving more color, making them look more Instagram like worthy. I won't do something like add more to my jawline or something like that, but I will maybe give myself a little bit of a tan. But for the most part, like you want to make your profile look as clean as possible. Also, too, you want to look at your profile bio and try to switch around and tell like so. You want to make it like, look, I know you already like me because you swiped on me. What do I like you? So you're trying to screen them out. So like I'll say something along the lines in my profile bio. I'll say like I'm one of those weirdos that will read your bio. Not a deal breaker. I'm one of those weirdos that's into personalities. Not and I will read your bio. But if I don't swipe on you, no worries. Like don't take it personally. Like that kind of message, because now the girl's gonna be chasing me. First thing she's gonna be like, "Oh, he read my bio and he likes who I am." Or like I'll say something like, "Girls that don't smile, that smile with their mouth but not their eyes, are possible sociopaths in my mind." Winky face or something like that. So then it's like, oh, he's gonna actually look at my profile and try to see if I have a personality. And now she's gonna like first thing when she does swipe on me, she's gonna start chasing me. I do that all the time. It actually works really well for getting the girl chasing you, which means she's gonna invest in you, which means she's also gonna be more like meet up on the date.
So two things. I think we should move on to the next person.
Yeah.
Spend like 15 minutes on one, which is a lot. And then, which is nothing against you, just in fairness.
I personally like you. Probably.
He'd go for a full 2 hours with you, and then, might help you get to advance.
I'm definitely not gonna like the other guys after you as much as I like you, and that makes me really sad. Honestly,
he uses seduction voice. He doesn't do that with everyone.
I do.
If you are vacationing in Sacramento, just ping me. I'll come and meet you up.
All right, dude. Hell yeah, man. That'd be a lot of fun. Let's do it.
Awesome. Good talking to you. And the second thing is we should do just audio because we should be looking at the phone. Because that's where the YouTube is.
Fuck them. All right.
Because they want to.
We're making real connections.
There's only
all
one
right,
person here. There's 26 people
I'll talk
there.
to you then, man. Good talking to you, right?
They need to have an intimate connection.
Do not.
Cuties.
Intimate connections.
All right. This guy says, "Is coaching worth it?" What do you think? Taylor says, "Is coaching worth it?"
Is coaching worth it? No, definitely don't get coaching with us because we don't know what we're talking about. Let's see.
Okay, quite the answer.
We're really bad at our jobs. Don't get coaching from us. It's not worth
Well,
it.
definitely no one in our last boot camps got laid multiple times.
No, we never get clients laid.
Especially not people who have never pulled before. That's never happened.
We never had virgins on boot camps have makeouts and whatnot. That doesn't happen. That'd be nuts. Man, mind blower right there. Okay, I'm adding the I know store. All right. Right here. Maybe we'll after this one we'll call quits and we'll just
Sure.
Because it's already getting pretty late.
2 a.m.'s late, huh?
I'm such a disconnecting to audio and can't hear you yet.
It's another boomer trait you got.
I'm so old.
You're gonna be waking up at 5 a.m.
I'm
Eat dinner
so
for
old. Where are my crutches? Where's the nurse?
the nurse who loves me.
She got a fine ass.
They probably say caboose. They'd say caboose.
Caboose. They got fine caboose.
All right, you gotta get some old man makeup and pick up girls with that voice.
Dude, I crushed
There's
it.
your first super viral video.
Hey, hey man, can you hear me?
We don't hear anything, by the way.
Oh wait, he messaged us. Alright, there he is. Wait, that's not him.
And he's gone.
He left us.
He's gone.
I feel
Just like they all leave.
so rejected.
Do you think it's possible to game on a budget? So that's barely even relevant. A lot of times, guys who are making money shoot themselves in the foot by trying to use the money.
Yeah.
And as soon as you're using the money, then she sees you as a provider and not a lover. And then she might want to go on a lot of dates with you, but she's not going to want to just like she doesn't have passion for you, right? It's not like the raw desire for sex. It's more of a let's have a long-term relationship kind of situation. You're putting yourself into that box.
Yeah.
When I was killing it at one point when I was making minimum wage. I had my house rent was $300 a month, so it was in like the poor area. It was a pretty sketchy area. I was pulling all the time there, and some girls would comment like, "Oh, is this safe?"
No.
And I'd say no, and then they still came in. Like I never had one time where that caused a problem. And it's like dates. Okay, you could go to a 5-star restaurant. Or you could go to coffee. Coffee's better for a date anyway because it's more casual, it's more fun, it's easier to connect. It doesn't feel like a lot of pressure. It's not a big deal. You can go to a park that's free. You don't need money to pull girls. It'd be nice to have like some wine, something to drink, maybe something like that. Hopefully you have a TV so you can watch a movie with her. You need a room, ideally somewhere to like actually make something happen. But that's about it. So you don't need money at all. That's just kind of like a societal myth that can turn into an excuse not to try.
Yeah. Well, I pulled like girls in really crazy situations. Like my first like 30 to 60 girls I slept with were mostly in my car, in my 2000 Toyota Camry. Yeah. Gold. It was the gold Camry. I feel like I'm on the testimonial now after doing that. I don't know if that like yes, Mr. Judge. Anyways, so I think it is a little bit of a cop out, like your situation to pull a girl with, but yeah, you want to have something at your place to pull with. For me, like we did like darts, we had a TV, we used to have Game Boy on, we had like and what else did we do? Weed, to be honest. What else? There's like, what else would there be? Like basically, you need some reason to like take them into your spot, so they don't feel slutty because. Girls are way more socially intelligent than we are. They just need to feel like they need an excuse.
Well, not us.
Not us.
Just men in general.
Men in general. Yeah, most men, like women, are just generally more socially intelligent. They know what you're doing. They know what it is, but they need an excuse. So if they go to their friends, they can be like, "Oh, we were just doing this," and they can rationalize, not doing the situation. It just happened, and that's the best way to do it instead of it seeming orchestrated. To be honest, sometimes before, when I brought a girl here. I haven't decided yet with her being in my place if I still want to sleep with her. So I'll still I won't even take her to my room. I'll sit out here and hang out with her, talk to her a little bit more. There's one time where I was talking to this girl, like really very pretty girl, and I kept screening her and I kept telling her, "Oh, it's awesome, blah blah," and she ended up telling me that she hooked for like a year prior, and I was like, "Okay, we're not having sex." I was like, "That's not happening." So
you don't want to play STD bingo?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying to catch anything. I'm really glad I screened her out.
I mean, I feel like Charlie Sheen's winning, but you could try to catch up.
By winning.
Old school reference for the boomers in the in those videos.
Is that an old school thing now?
Yeah, it's like 10 years old, man.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
Man, you're old. Not me. Not me though. I'm youthful and vibrant as a man. Let's see.
You still got a few good years left.
Tips for 18-year-olds?
Tips for 18-year-olds.
If you're young, you will
go to the local college. I mean, even if you're not a student there, any university college, the best ones, approach girls there. That's going to be the perfect place because they're in your age range and there's tons of hot girls and there's infinite options. Just say you're there to meet a friend if you're not a student. If you are a student, which most 18-year-olds are, go you just approach girls on your campus. That's going to be the biggest opportunity. And otherwise, it doesn't need to be that much different. If a girl's much older, if she's in her 40s, maybe it's not going to happen. But if a girl's a few years older, you just look at it as a shit test. And if you can make it humorous, you make it fun, it's not a big deal. You're not like, "Oh, I'm 18 and, I've never touched a girl before." Actually, that would be what I would say. "Yeah, I know, I'm 18. I've never touched a girl before, and this is making me really uncomfortable." Just turn to a joke, and it'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's
18
also,
isn't a problem.
yeah. Well, it's a problem if you think it's a problem.
17's a problem.
Yes.
Depending on your ethics.
Yeah. Well, some girls actually even get turned on by that. The fucking freaks.
If you're 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I'd say. So for me, what I did was there are 18 and up raves, if that's what you want to do, if you're down with it. So for us, what I'd say is that you should ultimately. Wait, actually, one sec here, man. I'm doing something really important. Oops, not that important. All right. So, what I would be doing with you is like I'd be going looking for those raves, looking for maybe like those 18 and up places you can go to. There were a lot in Sacramento. I don't know if there are somewhere you are at, but that was pretty big for me. I was doing a lot of that kind of stuff. 18-year-olds, like I also hit the streets a lot. I would go to San Francisco and I just walk around San Francisco. You guys can do it that way. You can also check out, let's see, what else is there? The malls, like I like the malls. The malls idea is really good. There's a lot of girls that are younger at malls too. They're 18, 19, 20. They love the malls. That's a great spot to go for you if you're an 18-year-old. Yeah, those are the big, thanks for being 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically the groundness is going to fuck you up though pretty heavily. When it comes down to groundness, you have to actually feel like a man, and you also are going to get pushed around a lot easier because you're younger and you haven't been through so much shit. That will come with time as you keep going out, especially. It'll speed up. You actually get more masculine a lot faster. You'll be able to withstand stuff a lot quicker.
But to be fair, girls your age are also less grounded, less emotionally mature, so it kind of balances out to an extent. Like, you can still, once they're in your age, like, if you're dealing with 30-year-olds, they're going to be a lot more confident and established, and that could be intimidating to you. But younger girls are also kind of like, they don't have the highest self-esteem. They don't know what they're doing either. They're just like you, so just remember that. Like, for all the insecurities you may have and the uncertainty you may have, she has just as much.
Yeah, they're like bears. They're more afraid of you than you are of them.
Are bears? I don't think that's the right one. I think it's.
No.
I think that's like spiders.
It's like Mike Tyson.
I don't think bears are more afraid of us than we are of them. Like, maybe like the small ones, the
Spiders?
baby bears.
Do spiders even feel fear? I think it's just like,
They
oh,
only
big thing,
cause
move
it,
fast,
yeah.
run. Like, I don't think they're like having like
It's maybe
I don't
wolves or
think-
something. I don't know.
wolves.
Like maybe they're afraid of us, but I don't think bears are. Maybe
Oh no,
I'm
there's
wrong.
those really awkward things that run on 2 feet. They're like over there. They're not nearly as fast as we are. Let's just avoid those things. I don't know if they're necessarily afraid. They're just like, man, those things are annoying. Let's go around them. Let's worry about something else.
Well, they falsely think we could take them because we're larger, but
I
they're
could take
wrong.
them. I could take them, but it's because I'm a fine specimen. I'm a beautiful man. I'm like these biceps. I could probably crush walnuts with. I was born.
The humility thread.
I was
just keeps
born to
coming
be
back.
Brad Pitt, but like more muscular and taller. I was.
He's short, by the way. He's considered was considered the sexiest man in the world. He's 5'10". He's not short, but he's not tall. He's not above average. He's 5'10". Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, well,
Like,
Robert Downey Jr. is like 5'6".
is he?
I don't know. I
You
made
mean
that up.
Tom Cruise?
I made that up.
I think you mean
It's
Tom
5'7".
Cruise. I think
But
you mix them up.
for anybody that clicked off this video at that moment specifically, just got fucked thinking that.
There's
They're
some
gonna-
short male
they're
sex
gonna-
symbols out there. Like
they're
they're
gonna
not
spread that
all
at
6'5". Because there's guys who are like, you can't do it if you're not 6 foot plus. Brad Pitt's not 6 foot plus.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not this universal thing that if you're not tall, you have no chance.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's more about whether or not, like, I've known guys that were really short and I never thought of them as short because they never even brought it up or never even, like, to them it's just not a big deal, and it wasn't a big deal. They did great with girls loved them. I have friends currently that are crushing it with women, and it's not because of some it's like literally the belief itself is what's causing the situation. So when we were like going out to Halloween and you were dressing up like as Captain Underpants in your underwear running around in a cape, and I was dressed in all pink with booty shorts and a girl's cowboy hat, I was tenfold louder and more obnoxious because I knew that if I did that, people wanted to try to bully me, and they'd also be like, oh, they're so into this that it's cool now. Because like if we didn't go all in and we were like walking around like, oh shit, are people gonna laugh at us? They would, and they'd take it on us. So you want to be like, so when you're doing like, so when you have that energy, or like you're like a person who's a little bit maybe smaller, but you don't have that energy, like, you know, like I even think about it twice, people won't fuck with you, especially bullies. Because when you're a shorter person, the bullies are going to try to get you because they think that now you're an easy target. You don't give off that vibe like you're an easy target. And you actually learn that through game and verbal skills.
Yeah. All right. Any last questions we should answer? Women are 10 times smarter than we. I mean, IQ tests and science beg to differ. It's roughly equal.
Well, there's a big gap like between men and, like, of intelligence and low intelligence, whereas like for women it more congregates in the middle. So if you actually look at guys on IQ tests, guys are more spread out. Guys are more likely to be further on the like the intelligence end, and then lower though on the intelligence end as well than women. So like more risky. But the women more coalesce their intelligence and IQ right in the middle, and there's less outliers like there are men. With men, there's more outliers, and
I mean, it's not a huge like the difference isn't huge. It's there, but it's not like every genius is male and every idiot is male. There's just a somewhat higher percentage at the low and top end of the spectrum. But some people exaggerate. It's like every smart person is a guy and women are only average. So just like if you look at the data, it's not quite like that. But there is a difference, and it's because men basically like women are guaranteed to.
Well, I think Jane Wolf would say, "Shit, I'm not gonna say that joke. I'm not gonna make that joke. That was so close."
Well, his girlfriend is 210 IQ,
That's
which
what the
puts
joke I was
her
gonna say.
at the top 1 in 387 billion, I believe. And wow, that's impressive, right?
I mean, she goes against statistic, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she's a time traveler from a future generation. The IQ went up, and that's how she beat the odds like that. But that's very impressive, if you ask me.
Yeah, like phenomenally impressive. I mean, that's almost like she's pretty much a superhero at that point because I don't think there's ever been a person with that kind of IQ, from my knowledge of the situation. I think the highest was like, I don't think it,
or something.
I don't think it does not break 200. So that's I've
Except
never heard
with this one.
I've never heard of like I think the current smartest man in the world has a 185, 190 IQ currently in the world, I believe.
Well, and
like,
she's smarter and she's pretty hot too, so that's like, damn, double whammy.
she's a Mensa times 2. She's like literally would be the queen of Mensa. She'd be the lead of the feminist movement. They'd be like carrying around chariots and stuff, like held by naked men in thongs and shit like that. Like she would like literally have a crown. Like she'd have like a bunch of like women with like short colored hair following her with glasses, pushing them up towards their nose, being like, "I'm about to blog about this." Are you guys on Twitter? Literally just following her in a parkade behind her.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, that maybe actually happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just a wood.
It could be the reality. If I judged correctly, I believe that would be the reality.
Why not pick up men? I mean, hey, if that's what you're into, then go for it. That's what I say.
Well, picking up men versus picking women is completely different things.
It's way
biology.
easier to pick up men.
If you're gay, it's way easier to pick up men, which is why if you ever talk to a guy and he tells you his count is like 1,000 plus, more than likely it's because he's gay. See the joke I made there? That was really clever.
Martial arts. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. All right, so wrap it up, yeah?
No.
I think it's
Stay with them
a
forever.
brief,
Why don't we take him to bed
nice
with
short
us?
piece of content.
Why don't we just like film ourselves
Let them sleep
sleeping?
next to us.
Just like
Film
us
us
snoring.
Hang out with us.
Just hugging the phone.
A day in the life. It's a day in the
like
life.
hugging the audience.
It's a day in the life, but at night and sleeping.
Ooh, I like that.
Would you guys be into that?
Hey, does anybody
Should
want
we
to
do
follow
ASMR as we go to sleep?
You know what I thought would be funny? One day, like going out and like while we're like walking around filming.
Oh wait, it's actually.
Oh, it's over there.
Damn it.
Yeah, no, really. I got this. Hey guys, do you guys want this being even more intimate? Do you guys love us? Do you guys want to see our everyday lives? Do you want to see what it's like to sit next to Avery while he's snoring? Do you guys want to know that feeling? Then keep watching the video. Then leave comments below. Let us know that you want to be in every situation of our life, even when we're using the bathroom.
That's OnlyFans.
That's the OnlyFans, yeah.
That's our OnlyFans.
That's the OnlyFans.
All right, wrap it up. We'll do another one of these soon on my channel, I think, tomorrow. Because I'm leaving on Thursday, so we get another one in.
Well, I thought it'd be fun to like maybe do one of these while we're out gaming. Why don't we film like while we're approaching? That'd be hilarious. Have
Yeah,
you
well,
thought
now that I
about
got a 5G phone, we could probably do it.
Dude, that'd be awesome, actually. OnlyFans revealed. All right, anyways. Okay, we're going to get bouncing on this because we hate you, and we did want nothing to do with you guys. We just do this because it pays the bills. I'm kidding, I love you.
Practice. I love you. I hate you. I love you. I hate you.
I love you, I hate you, I love you. I love you. All right, that's uncomfortable. All right.
I'm sure they were into it.
Just vast amount of men watching this video.
Have a good night, everyone.